Hello, everyone. Welcome to OriginatorTech. We are so excited you joined us for the first of many OriginatorTech. So we just kind of came up with this idea not too long ago, and it's something actually that we felt actually it was important to come up with a virtual event that is focused just on technology for the originators. And while there's other great events out there, this is the one that, listen, while the enterprise is important and the overall company is super important, but really, I believe that, and it stems back to a conversation that I had with our first guest, and I'm going to bring him in right now. Alex, what's up?
What's happening?
From Sales Boomerang. So, Alex, I don't know, maybe you remember this conversation, maybe you don't, but you and I actually had this conversation talking about a happy originator, happy LOs. I'm sorry, a happy originator, happy borrowers, and that your organization should be to do whatever you can to serve the originators in these organizations. And it's something actually, I remember you said that. I remember exactly, I was in the gas station parking lot, when you shared that with me, you had a conversation with a mutual friend of mine about, and I remember that stuck in my head, and that was one of the genesis of why we created the OriginatorTech event.
Nice, man. I love it. Yeah, I remember, not even remember, it's just always something that we talk about is that, look, as a lender, as an institution that is made up of people, we want to make sure that we take care of our people, right? And if our people are taken care of, then the customers that they work with are going to be taken care of as well. And so there's a lot of ways to take care of your own team, and that's showing them love and respect and being there for them and listening to them, creating a safe environment, and all these things that you do. And then there's also the support with all the different resources and technologies and services that you can implement, that you vet out and you choose the ones that are going to be best for you and your team. And I think that's very important in what you're going to be, all the people that are going to be presenting today, is it's all very important because these are some of the best technologies and some of the things that loan officers are hungry for. So
fantastic. So listen, if go right ahead if you want to share your screen, because I know I have questions. I love talking about you guys. I could talk about you guys till I'm blue in the face, but I'd love to actually share some of the things that goes on inside Sales Boomerang as the awesome tool it is. And by the way, we do have some resources that are out there. I'm going to put up the URL if you just give me 1 second here.
Sure.
But Alex, whenever you're ready, you could start sharing.
Yeah. I'm gonna start talking, and then I'm gonna start sharing. So
cool.
A couple things. First of all, my team said, "Hey, Alex, this webinar is happening at 11 o'clock Eastern time. We know that you like to drink when you present, but it's 11 a.m. Are you gonna do it?" The answer is in my hands. I can't not. It's a trademark. It's got to happen. So it's here. This could be, by the way, some sort of iced tea, though, so nobody will know that.
It's apple juice.
There you go. Thank you. So look, for today specifically, we're going to talk about a couple things where, in any other time in our existence, we may be talking about our platform and what it does, and all the retention and all the borrower experience and everything, which we're going to cover a little bit of. But I want to talk about the moment that we're in and the moment that we're getting into over the next 12 months here in this industry, okay? And so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share our screen of what our system looks like now. I'm also going to share a screen of where we're going and where we're implementing changes for improvement, for the experience for everyone that's in the lending industry, our clients, and all the future people that are going to be using borrower intelligence and systems like ours. So we're going to start with a quick peek and look. The biggest purpose for this conversation, and why I said we might be sharing things differently if we weren't in this environment today, and here's what I mean by that. Today, even though our system creates 20x ROI as an average, right? Even though our system helps increase lift in volume 10 to 40%, we've seen, okay, on an annual basis. That's those are averages we're talking about, right? Up to 40% lift. That's a huge number. Today, you all aren't experiencing a challenge in volume. Right? So why would we try to feed you when your bellies are full, right? But you are experiencing something different, okay? You're experiencing situations where you have a ton of EPOs and you have people losing commissions, and the swing of an EPO that you're not ready for is not just the loss of commission, but it's also a payback, and you've literally paid everyone on your team to do the work that they've done, and then you have to give it back. So the swing is enormous if you have an early payoff. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let's see. Here we go. Yep, perfect. And I'm going to start with just showing what the current Sales Boomerang experience looks and feels like and the things that you're getting out of it. So what is Sales Boomerang? Sales Boomerang is an automated borrower intelligence system. Hey, look, somebody's calling in. Call up instead of Andrew. So a borrower intelligence system that tells you when someone in your database is ready for a loan right now, right? That's what it's designed to do. And so when we wrap your database with intelligence, what that does is it gives you insights when somebody's prepared for either a better loan or a loan in general. So for instance, like in this case, this person went from an unqualified credit score to a qualified credit score, and we know that now, right? So you get a notification on that. You know, these are all credit improvement. This person has plenty of equity in their home, right? They have 33% equity in their home, so there's something you can do for them, right? So notifying you of these events, somebody's shopping for a mortgage, all of these things are automatically wrapped. Your data is ingested from either a CRM or an upload that you'll do into the Sales Boomerang system manually. We wrap your entire database with this intelligence, and then we feed it back into an environment where your loan officers have nothing new to learn. No login required. Okay, you're like, huh, how's that possible? You're a piece of software. Yeah, but we integrate with your existing system, so there's no login required. Your LOs will never have to log into this, right? So loan officers, if you're listening to this, there's no login for you. All the information that's necessary about your database, about your customers, comes directly to you. So what does that mean? That also means no technology to learn. So not only do you have to not log in somewhere, but you also have no new tech to learn. So it's not like, well, I got to get proficient in this. No. We're going to exist inside your CRM or your marketing automation, or we're going to appear inside your email chain. And when you click on a link to learn information, it's going to open up in this digital environment where you can get all of this information for you without having to log in. We use special security tokens to identify who you are and only display that information on your screen, again, without you having to log in with a secure login to get that, right? We want to keep you protected, but without having you to remember passwords and things of that nature. Now, does that mean you can never log in? Sure, you can. You could come in and check a look at what your records look like, but the purpose is for you to not learn new things, right? That's the purpose, okay? It's about just utilizing what's available to you, efficiency and time. You guys have a line of people standing outside your door wanting to do business with you right now, and we want to make sure that we prioritize the important conversations, the valuable conversations, over the ones that may not fulfill and turn into a deal or a loan today, right? So today, when we talk about it, Sales Boomerang takes all your data, wraps it with intelligence, and delivers the information to you in a prioritized fashion to what's important to you. Why is that relevant for this moment that we're living in right now? Well, you're all talking to dozens and dozens and dozens of people on a weekly basis, okay? You don't know who's qualified, who's going to be ready to move forward. They're all just excited to take advantage of this market. This is where Sales Boomerang comes in and can create prioritization and say, look, you may not want to speak to everyone. These people are ready to go and can qualify and can do a loan right now. These people probably need some work. So talk to them, start the conversation, plug them into the system, let the intelligence do its job. And when they're actually qualified and ready to go, you'll get that notification so you can focus on the people that can take action now versus those people that can take action in the future, right? So those are all the things that are happening with Sales Boomerang right at this moment, right? Giving you a chance to take a look at the people in front of you and the people in your database and prioritize the opportunities so you can take advantage of the ones that need your help right now, okay? Now, here's the thing. Remember, we help drive volume, okay? We help create relationships. We help retain your borrowers. We help get you more referrals, right? That's what Sales Boomerang does. It creates this holistic experience between you and your borrower that puts the borrower at the center and not your commission numbers, not your quotas, not your volume. It puts the borrower at the center and says, hey, based on your current credit situation, we can help you. You're finally in a good credit position that we can help get you a better rate, right? So it identifies those things. But here's the important part about today. Today, you're all setting record numbers, record high numbers in volume. So today, the most important use case for Sales Boomerang is preventing all those EPOs and for you all to keep your commissions. So today we recommend people take the system and focus specifically on the deals you're doing today. So the one you close today, let's put them into tracking instantly to make sure that there isn't an early payoff so that you can prevent losing the commission and getting hit with that penalty, right? That's the most important use case. If you're not currently a client of Sales Boomerang, you're not currently utilizing borrower intelligence, you may not need all of the resources that we offer right now, but the one you need right now are things that will tell you that there's an early payoff coming so you can prevent it. For the next 6 months, that's going to be probably the most important thing for those that aren't currently using the system. Okay, so let me pause there. Andrew, do you want to add anything to the conversation? Any questions you want to ask before I dive into another part of the platform?
So, and I just, I want to go into the R&R. So, let's go in, because there are some things on this screen that I think it's important that people understand, some of these things. So, go into the R&R. We got to go through a loan loss report. I'm hoping next you have one prepared for us, because the loan loss report is like that. To me, is once a lender sees that loan loss report, it's like they can't say no. It's almost like I use the analogy of like my wife actually, so a few months ago gave me actually numbers to play the Mega Millions. Mega Millions was like a high jackpot. She actually gave me the numbers. Now, if at that point I didn't play and those numbers hit, I'd be in a lot of trouble. Kind of like the same thing. Once you see that loan loss report and you see how much money you could be losing, or you're losing right now by not using a solution like this, it's kind of a no-brainer. So I definitely want to go into that. But take us through that R&R thing, because I think that's a really important thing to get across here.
Yeah. So just so everybody understands, the R&R stands for risk and retention. Risk and retention is only available for those lenders that are servicing the loans that they originate. But it's the most important resource you can have right now to prevent all those early payoffs, right? So R&R is specifically designed, risk and retention is specifically designed for the originators that service their own loans. And Sales Boomerang offers all of those other resources for those that aren't servicing their own loans, because the ones that are servicing their own loans have extra access to data and information. As you can see here, we put in here, instead of an opportunity, we call it a potential risk. Why is it a potential risk? You're at risk of losing this customer, right? So it's different than, hey, you have a prospect that's out in the market looking for a mortgage. That's not a risk, that's an opportunity. But for somebody servicing, it's a risk if somebody's out in the market. So when you have a program like risk and retention running, you have access to all of this information, like mortgage inquiries, of course, credit card utilization, right? If somebody's really maxing out their credit cards, you can call them and say, hey, how do we help you? You're right, we're servicing your loan. We're your lender, we're your bank. Everything okay? Like, you're maxing things out? Are you in trouble? Or what's happening? Gives you a chance to get in front of your borrower before they are going to go into and possibly be foreclosed upon, missing payments, things like that. So there's a ton of amazing information with risk and retention. You can find out about auto inquiries, credit card inquiries, collection notices, all of this wonderful information about your customer that you're currently working with, that is paying you every month for doing a loan with them. You can have access to the risky things, right, that could prevent them from possibly making the next payment or leaving you for another lender, right? So that's what R&R is. Risk and retention is about diving deep into your existing borrowers' current data and their daily events that could potentially trigger a situation where you lose that customer and lose that income and potentially lose commission for the loan officer that sold that deal. So it's very important for ULOs that if your team if you guys are originating and servicing, you want to go to your managers, you want to go to your corporate team and say, hey, are we running a program like this? Because I want to prevent my EPOs. I also want to know if there's a chance for my customer to take, so we can take advantage of refinancing them ourselves instead of somebody else, and or preventing them from not making payments and we lose them before we really got started with them, right? So if you're listening and you're on this call, you want to check with your team. If it's important to you to keep all those customers paying every single month, you have to be running a program like this. There's truly nothing more valuable than this for people doing servicing on their own originated loans.
Fantastic. And I'm just, not to cut you off, but if anyone has questions, hit the comment box. There are, I mean, if you have questions, if we'll ask them here. Obviously, we're going to connect you directly to Alex and his team after this. But if you have questions, hit us in the comment box right now. Happy to address your question. But so, and I listen, I'm a little intimate with your system, so I understand actually some things about your system that most people don't know. And one of the things I always think it's a difficult thing, because in a lot of cases, at this point, if your borrower triggers one of these things, you might have already lost them. You might have actually already done actually something where you should have been in contact with them. You should have been. But that being said, do you help actually, with the text and the scripts, to help actually, when those alerts come up, like what to say and what to do, when those things happen?
Great question. So, first of all, I just want to remind what Andrew said for everyone. Questions, the more questions you ask, the more involved you are, the more other people can get involved and see some of those questions. So participate for yourself and for everyone else on this call, because it will help answer questions for everyone. But so to your point, we, from the very beginning, we understood that this is not the typical conversations that loan officers have with their customers. So we went out of our way, with passion, by the way. This was labor of love, because we love this. We have incredible marketers, content writers, advertisers on our team that focus specifically on templates, email templates, SMS, voicemail, scripts, referral templates, things that you may run into where somebody's questioning how you got this information, and rebuttals to those things. So the answer to your question is yes, and constantly adjusting it. As a matter of fact, we're getting ready to roll out an entire content library that's created by you, the users of the system. They've been using it for years now and going, hey, we have loan officers that are saying 25 to 30% of my volume comes from Sales Boomerang. And so they've perfected, think about that, a third of your volume coming from one system.
Wow.
So they've perfected the scripts, the texts, the emails, the calls, the referral partnerships, and what they're going to be doing, because we love them so much and they love us, which is this mutual relationship. They're going to be willing to share those templates with our audience. So we're going to have an entire content library from existing LOs and teams that have perfected it, that are willing to share this so that other people can have this experience.
That's amazing. So listen, one of the questions that just came to me, and we got 2 minutes left here, and then we get capacity coming up. But I got to know actually, and this is something I happen to know the answer to this, but this question came up. So to get started, so let's say actually someone said, "Hey, this is awesome. This is fantastic. We want to do this." But to actually get up and running, what does it take? What does it take actually? Because you're integrating with other systems, you're integrating with the CRM. How does it actually? How easy is it to get ramped up?
Okay, so I'll answer this, and some of it is going to be like cliche, but here's how easy. Number one, it starts with a conversation. It's got to be the right fit, right strategy for you. This isn't a lifesaver. If you're drowning, we're not going to throw you a life vest and say, "Hey, this system is going to save your business," right? Luckily today, that's not the case. Nobody's drowning. Everybody's printing cash like it's literally growing on trees. So number one, it starts with a conversation. Number two, it's super easy because we work with existing CRMs, and those integrations, we have some integrations that happen within 3 days of you saying I want to do it. We have some that take a little bit longer, but the entire process takes about 45 days from, hey, I'm interested, let's get started, to you starting to get notifications and start to use the system. So within 45 days, you should have the ability to start receiving those notifications. And no CRM, no problem. We will start with you without a CRM or a marketing automation system, but we will encourage you as fast as possible to stand one up, because without automation, you're really making your team, yourself, if you're doing this for yourself and your team, you're putting extra effort on yourself when you can totally automate the process. So conversation, quick data collection, and go live. Nice and simple within 45 days.
Awesome, man. That's great. Alex, thank you so much. Always great to hang out with you. Next time I'll bring the bourbon. But
you mean apple juice?
Yeah, apple juice. That's right.
Yeah. That's how we roll.
All right, buddy. So listen, we're going to connect actually. Everyone who's there's a bunch of people that already actually requested information about Sales Boomerang. We'll connect you guys after this. But it's like one of those things that you're just leaving money on the table. It's just leaving money on the table if you're not using it.
And today it's a little worse because you may not be leaving money on the table, but somebody comes in and grabs it literally out of your pocket, and you have to pay it back because of the EPOs and commit. That's the thing that we're talking about right now for the next 6 months. Don't worry about all the extra volume, but don't lose your commissions.
Fantastic. All right, Alex, thank you so much, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you, everyone. So I'm so excited. Our next guest I'm going to bring right in. We've got Dave Carandish. I'm going to get you. Hey, David, what's going on?
What's happening?
Oh, not too much, not too much. Just a exciting day dedicated to originators technology, things actually that originators are doing, just to I think so companies are doing to enhance the originator experience, because I believe happy originator, happy borrower, and happy borrower, happy mortgage company, right?
Absolutely. Super excited to share with you what we're up to today at Capacity.
Wonderful, wonderful. So if you have something, if you want to share your screen, we would love to bring you in.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and dive in. So quick background, David Karandish, CEO and co-founder here at Capacity. What I thought we'd do today, we're going to walk through a couple of examples where Capacity is helping loan originators generate leads, answer questions from their borrowers on their websites. We'll show some back-end use of the tool so you can kind of see how that Capacity console works. And then we'll show some internal examples and then wrap up with some workflows.
And I got to say, I only actually learned about you guys a couple of months ago. And since then, I keep seeing you guys. I keep actually, hear people talking about you on social media. So it's like, I didn't hear anything until now, and now it's all over the place. So I'm excited about getting the demo myself. You guys are doing some pretty wild things there. So really, really excited to get to see this for my own purposes.
Well, thank you. Let's go ahead and dive in. So here is the Home Fundit website, powered by CMG. You can see here they've got the Capacity bot on the site, and there they've named their bot Peyton, and they've got an intro message. They've got a helpfulness question. I can go in and ask a question about down payment. And as I start typing, what you'll notice here is we do this autocomplete. So we can direct your borrowers toward the questions that Capacity knows how to answer. We ask the question, why is the down payment helpful? A large down payment helpful? We come back instantly with a response. If you want to go full screen for a larger response, you can do that as well. And we can even do a little show more if you have a very, very long response. Now, every response has a thumbs up, thumbs down. Every time we thumb that up, we will match to that a little more often. Every time we thumb that down, we'll actually teach the machine learning to learn how to improve that response for next time. We're doing similar work at Planet Home Lending. So here you can see they've got their bot Stella. So I could go ask a question like, I want to apply for forbearance. And it'll again come back to me with how I'd go through that process, taking me through the link of what the forbearance process looks like. Or I could go ask a question about, say, a loan service transfer. But if I misspelled it and I typed in lawn service, Capacity is still smart enough to know that lawn service is close to a loan service transfer. And we actually have two loan servicing type questions. So it'll come back and disambiguate and say, did you mean, what does a loan service transfer mean? I can now make that selection. It'll come back to me instantly with a response. Again, it's just simple, it's straightforward, and it's frictionless. Now, I want to spend a quick minute on the Capacity console. So in the console, we've got our help desk, our knowledge base, our app store, our workflows, analytics, and settings. We're looking at the knowledge base here for one of our clients, PRMG. So I can go pull up the bot, and let's say I wanted to ask a question about something around the borrower. Let's say borrower, can the borrower pay seller's debt in VA, or does the borrower need a blanket authorization form? Again, as an LO, I come in, ask this question, and pull instant responses back from the guides. It's just simple, it's straightforward, it's frictionless. You can see the new questions and answers, new exchanges that have been created, recently updated, expiring, or expiring soon. And then you can see all the different directories where we house the information. Now, there are times in which you've got an application that you want to integrate in with Capacity. So we built out a developer platform, so you could go in and connect, say, Salesforce directly to your Capacity instance. You have over 50 different apps that come out of the box, and then you've got the ability to customize whatever app you'd like. Now, there are cases in which you might want to ask a question to Capacity for a document that might be long in length, maybe a guideline, maybe a policy or procedure, maybe a reg. So if I ask Capacity about the parental leave policy, you'll notice as I'm typing, in addition to the Q&A that come back, we can actually link you back to the section of the document you're looking for. So in this case, we're going to pull up the employee handbook, take me directly to page 24. And again, instead of having to rifle through all these different documents, it took me exactly to the place I was looking for. And the beauty of this is that this particular response is maybe about a page and a half in length. But with our Capacity Cloud Drive, we're able to return it in a seamless manner. Now, I talked about how Capacity can be deployed on your borrower-facing website. You can also place Capacity directly in your Salesforce instance. So here's an example of the Capacity bot running within Salesforce. So if I wanted to ask a question like, how do I connect to the VPN? Again, as I'm typing, we can do our autocomplete, and it'll come back to me instantly with the response. I know this has never happened. No one's ever had trouble getting on the VPN, especially working from home. We want to be able to handle all these use cases, internal, external, you name it. Now, I mentioned earlier that Capacity can plug into all these different interfaces. Not only can we plug into Salesforce, but we can also plug directly into a messaging platform like Slack, like Skype, like Microsoft Teams. So I'll show a quick example of that here. If I went and I asked Capacity, what's a good example? I'm going to say, I'm going to ask about, I want to schedule a meeting. Schedule 15 minutes to meet with Cindy and Chris. Make sure I spell my minutes right. Okay. And now when I go hit submit, Capacity is going to go look at my calendar. It's going to go look at Cindy's calendar. It'll look at Chris's calendar. Smart enough to know we've got multiple Chris's in our org. So I'll go select Chris Dewar. It's now going to find the first 5 times when all of us can meet based on our time zones, our meeting availability windows, and our preferences. And now I'll go say, let's meet tomorrow at 12:30. And the next thing you know, it will go in and add that directly to either my Outlook calendar or my Google Calendar. And just to show you this is actually happening in real time, I'll have it pop open my ever busy calendar, and you'll see this invite will show up. I'm going to go ahead and delete this invite when it pops up because poor Cindy and Chris are the victims of my calendar scheduling demos. And they get mad when I do these invites on there, but such is the occupational hazard of working at Capacity. Delete that real quick. Okay, so we've shown so far Capacity being customer facing. We've shown Capacity running internally, connecting to horizontal skills like your calendar. We can also connect to some mortgage specific apps as well. So I could say something like, what loans are closing this month? And Capacity will go connect to my LOS, log in as me using OAuth, and come back to me instantly and say, hey, here are the 3 loans that are closing this month. Or if I have a particular loan I want to look at, I could say, show the Johnson loan. And Capacity will go, again, into the LOS, find that particular loan, give me all the information I need, the rate lock, the status, loan type, you name it. And then lastly, we showed an example of this before, but just to kind of hammer this home, when you have regulatory type guideline questions, if you want to know what are USDA income limits, spell income right, income limits, Capacity will go into your guides and come back and link you directly to the sections of the guides that answer that particular question. Wow. So we like to call it no question left behind. Whatever you ask Capacity, we should be able to come back to you with an answer. Now, there are times in which you've got simple question in, simple answer out. And then you've got times where you have simple question in, more complicated answer out. Maybe you're going through a guided conversation like we showed on the schedule meeting example. But then there are other times when you're working through a full-fledged workflow where you're wanting to coordinate multiple people and processes together. Well, let me walk through how we do that with Capacity. So this is our workflow screen. You can see we've got 3 workflows: employee onboarding, loan creation, loan origination. I can click on loan origination, and it'll show me all the steps of the flow: collecting the app, submitting the underwriting, doc verification, etc. Go over to my toolbox on the left, and I can embed a workflow within a workflow. I always like to joke around. It's like those Russian dolls where you have the doll within the doll within the doll. The basic idea is that we can go embed another workflow like the loan creation process within the loan origination itself. Now, if I go up to the top of my workflow and I want to add a new task, In this case, we want to send a closing disclosure at the end of the loan. Now, I get that a lot of LOSs might have this already automated, but I'm using this as an example to show how you can add manual tasks that go hit the help desk. So in this case, we've got sending closing disclosure. We've got the description. We're going to assign it to Isabel on my team. I go hit create. We've now added that as a task in the bottom of the workflow. I scroll up to the top. I turn my workflow on, go back to my main screen, and now we can see that Amy Anderson has applied for a loan, and she's about 3/4 of the way through the process. We can see all the steps that she's taken, and when I click on any one of these tasks, we can see that this task has been open for 15 minutes. On average, it takes an hour to complete, and at the same time, it's taken 3 days from the beginning of the workflow to get here. So if you want to know what are your bottlenecks, what are your holdups, what's clogging up the drain of your workflow, we can help you identify that. If I click on View Ticket Details, it'll kick us over to our help desk. We can see all of Isabel's tickets. She can hit Send Closing Disclosure, and we can be on our merry way. But our goal, really long term, is we don't want to have Isabel have to check every one of these closing disclosures. We want to automatically create that as an automated step in the process. So we're going to go take this task, and instead of assigning it to Isabel, we're going to assign it to Capacity via that developer platform we showed earlier. So we plug in all of our different actions. In this case, we'll turn this into a send an email action. And again, we've got over 50 different apps you can use. We can fill in the from, the to, the subject, and the body. And then once we do that, we can even collect information earlier on in the workflow and use it to populate the later steps, like the email address, like the name. When I go hit create, next thing you know, instead of assigning that to Isabel, we've assigned that to Capacity and linked it to our Gmail integration. Now, fast forward a couple steps and stages, we think we've got an opportunity to automate as much as 70% of your workflows by assigning the steps of the process directly to the Capacity bot. So just to recap, we've got our AI-powered knowledge base plus chatbot combo. Can pull from your apps, can pull from your documents, pull from your FAQs. We can answer about 84% of your questions automatically today. Anything we can't answer kicks over to the help desk. On the other end, we've got our workflow automation platform plugged into our developer integrations, here to go automate as much as 70% of your workflows. Anything we can't automate becomes a human task in the help desk. So automated Q&A, automated tasks, human in the loop in the middle. That's what we're doing at Capacity.
It's amazing. So what was the genesis of this? Where did this come from? Well, the original concept of Capacity.
Yeah, the original concept started out with this idea of going into an organization, and initially we started in the HR space. We were saying, what could we do to build a better HR experience? And as we started talking with HR professionals, we started learning that all of the company is in this process of migrating to online, whether it's your LOS, whether it's your CRM. And so we started working with these organizations to say, what could we do to make your company intelligence accessible and easy and frictionless?
So and by the way, if anyone has any questions, please use the comment box. Whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, it's all feeding into the chat room here. But so what was it was HR, and for not just the mortgage business, this was any industry.
Yeah, we started out working across a wide variety of industries, and we ended up signing a couple of mortgage companies early on. And what we learned was really interesting, because I think the mortgage industry is special on a lot of accounts, but it's especially special because you've got lots and lots of documents. You've got a lot of workflows that aren't very systematized in many cases. You've got a lot of guides and a lot of regs. You've also got the salespeople who are very coin operated, who are trying to move these loans to close as fast as possible. And then you combine that with a borrower environment where borrowers have lots of questions. They don't know, how an adjustable rate mortgage works. And they don't know what, should they do a 15-year or 30-year? These types of questions are big, important questions that might dictate the largest purchase someone might make in their entire life. And so I think this industry in particular is ripe to use the product that we're building, which is why we've spent so much time cultivating the console for the mortgage space.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like a no-brainer. Like, I mean, yes, I understand actually, they charge a lot of the same questions, a lot of the resources, but like for mortgages, I mean, so what about status updates? Can borrowers who have already started the process use Capacity for getting status updates?
Absolutely. You can set up triggers around when you want to be updated. You could have a bot for your consumer experience. It can be both for the borrower-facing side and for the loan officer as well. And so the great thing about the platform is that we're not just internal or just external. It's one platform to rule them all.
Yeah, I mean that's the amazing thing about it. Like I was expecting to see some cool features from a CRM perspective, but this is so much more. And now, do you find actually that do a lot of the companies, do they use this as their sole platform, or they use this actually in concert with other CRMs? Like, where does this usually fit into the tech stack of most mortgage lenders?
Yeah, great question. The way I think about it is, think about your tech stack in terms of 3 layers. You've got your system of record at the bottom, which could be your CRM, could be your LOS. Depending on where you're storing your data, could be your own proprietary data warehouse. And we're not here to change those systems. Those systems are great systems of record. What we found, though, is that those systems are often very poor systems of engagement. And so the ability to access data from those systems has not been unlocked. It's not been unleashed in most cases. And so the chatbot itself, you could think of as the system of engagement on top of your system of record. But in between the system of engagement and the system of record is the system of intelligence. It's really where you start making decisions based on what's going on. If this borrower is approved, go this way. If not, go this other way. If somebody asks this question, we'll show them this kind of information. But if they ask this other question, let's go this other direction. And so the way we kind of think about it is that you keep your system of record exactly where it's at, whether it's a CRM, LOS, or both. Capacity's chat platform will be the system of engagement, but Capacity's workflow platform will be the system of intelligence.
Very cool. That's awesome, man. But so listen, this has been great. I'm glad I finally had the opportunity to get a peek inside the Capacity system. If we were to say actually the lenders that seem to be able to do best with this, like the lenders where like they get this and it's just like it has a major impact on their organization, what would you classify that as? Well, like what kind of mortgage lenders from a size perspective and even from their marketing approach?
If you have a heartbeat, we can help you. Anything from a small local lender all the way up to the big national chains.
Fantastic, wonderful, man. That's great. That's great. Is there a minimum user account that actually that where it doesn't make sense if you're like 1 or 2, or is it
Honestly, we have basic implementation falls in 2 buckets. You've either got internal, borrower-facing, or both. Just about every organization can use the borrower-facing one, so I don't care how big or small you are. Internal, typically over 50 to 100 employees is where it starts to pick up from an internal perspective, but everyone can use the borrower-facing one as an example.
Fantastic. That's awesome. So listen, I'm sure I know actually when people registered, they had to, they had specific interest in learning more about Capacity. Hopefully they got some of that information that they have. And I think actually, we will make sure that we connect you guys directly to Capacity. David, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you for bringing this awesome technology over to us, to the mortgage business.
Thank you. Check us out at capacity.com.
Wonderful. All right. Take care, Dave. All right. Very, very exciting. Just lots of great technology. So up next, we've got FinLocker. So we're going to have Brian View is going to be joining us here. Brian, we're going to add you to the stream right here. There he goes. Hey, Brian View from FinLocker. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, so listen, when we actually first had this conversation, when we first started talking about this, actually, I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, and I said, so tell me actually, one of the greatest pieces of technology for originators, not for the enterprise, not for, something that you were, and like right off the bat, he came right out and said, without a question, FinLocker. So you were actually one of the first people that we reached out to talk about this, because there is no other like technology that is so unique as what you guys do, that does such a great thing, a powerful thing for the originators, and doing it actually in a way that no one has ever done this before. Just to, Brian, if you could just give us a little quick introduction. Well, I always have the assumption that everyone knows Brian View, whether it's actually, from your legacy at Flagstar or from the work that you've done quickly with FinLocker. But just in case, for those people that are not Brian View experts yet.
Hopefully there's not many. It'd be pretty boring. So I joined FinLocker a year ago. I'm the president. I first invested in the company while at Flagstar Bank. And I did spend 27 years in mortgage production management, mostly in the third-party origination side. So what I'm going to talk you through in a few slides here before we do the demo is just kind of how I got to FinLocker and what we've built and how it's helping consumers and helping loan officers stay better engaged with their consumers. So thanks for having us today.
Fantastic. Well, and listen, if anyone has any questions, I see right now we've got people on Twitter, people on Facebook, people on LinkedIn, people on YouTube. So please actually, use the question box wherever you're at, whatever platform you're on. It'll feed into me, and we'll be able to answer any of your questions. So please feel free. And as my grandfather used to say, is the only stupid question is the one you don't ask.
I love it. Well, let's get rolling. How about that?
Fantastic.
Awesome. So as I mentioned, I invested in FinLocker and then joined as president about a year ago. And really what I saw was large fintechs that were working to disintermediate the local originators and local professionals, frankly. And you've got some of the logos here on the screen that are kind of focused on getting to the consumer first. And what FinLocker built was a financial super app. We combine many of the features that a consumer would otherwise have to go get from a Mint and a Karma, a Zillow, et cetera. We combine those features into one super app. We do it under the logo inside the tech stack of our client, providing a meaningful engagement for them and their consumers. Some of the use cases that our customers enjoy with FinLocker, we support first-time home buyers. So we're deep in education and preparation for the homeownership journey, as well as not quite ready borrowers, which is a tough thing to say, right? But you get those consumers that come into the sales funnel and they're just not quite ready, whether it's due to income, credit, DTI, or timing. The locker becomes a great grooming tool. And then we also live on beyond a mortgage closing and become a great customer for life platform for our clients to continue to engage with their consumers. And on the servicing side, we're a great platform, as well as the customer for life, but also cross-selling other financial products to consumers. And we've got this growing use case in servicing for loss mitigation with the forbearance situation that's been happening here. From a consumer perspective, there are a ton of benefits in the locker for consumers. So kind of working our way around this wheel, credit, right? So consumers can enroll and receive their credit report, credit score, monitoring, and alerts. We have a dashboard view of the entire financial life for a consumer. So once they've enrolled financial accounts, we can enable spending analysis and budgeting. I mentioned a little bit about our focus on helping consumers be ready for a mortgage. We've built a perpetual mortgage readiness assessment, which we'll show you. A deep library of education content and videos that help the consumer along their journey. We can enable document storage, and specifically documents that are needed for a mortgage application can be stored in the locker. And when you combine the documents with the data that we aggregate in a locker, we can dramatically streamline the mortgage application for the consumer. We also provide value around real estate for folks that already own homes. They can track the value of their property as well as recently sold homes near theirs, and actually search for real estate as well in the locker. And we're accessible on multiple platforms. Desktop, which is what we're going to demo on today, but we're also a native app on both iOS and Android. From a security perspective, consumers who enroll in a FinLocker, first of all, it's a simple process, but more importantly, it's extremely secure. We employ bank level security, multi levels of bank level security that always ensure the consumer that their data and information is safe. We protect the data both in transit as well as at rest, and we have identity verification as part of our security layer. We also perform our own annual SOC 2 Type 2 audit and are subject to audits by other folks like Fannie Mae, Fiserv, as well as a number of our banking clients. We have multiple patents on our product. We've partnered with folks like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Microsoft, as well as a number of housing counseling advocacy organizations. In particular, we're focused on helping first-time homebuyers achieve the dream of home ownership. We're a day one certainty approved vendor for Fannie Mae for asset verification. And as I mentioned, we have built a readiness assessment that perpetually analyzes the consumer's data in the locker, alerting them when they are ready for a mortgage. The key here is we're a consumer permission data platform. So the important thing to note here is the consumer's in control of their data. They choose what to share, with whom to share it, and for how long. And we're going to show you what that looks like in the locker. And the locker is not a one and done transactional platform. It remains beyond a mortgage closing, which connects our originators for life to their consumer, even on their phone as a native app. So let's jump into our demo environment here. So what we're going to look at here for the next few minutes is the desktop view of FinLocker. This is the consumer view of the platform. So a couple things I'll point out for our originators watching today. We are a white labeled custom platform. So we're going to build this under your logo as an originator, in your color scheme. So we want this to look like, as close to possible, your consumer experience. So when your customers are in the locker, they're really underneath your logo in your tech stack. We also are able to add our originator. So the originator will also be present in their consumer's locker. So each originator has a unique URL link that they can send to prospective clients to invite them into their instance of the locker. And then once that consumer's in the locker, they're always going to see you as the originator in that experience. A couple other areas that we provide customization for the originator is this rotating carousel offer widget. You can have up to 3 unique offers that are presented here. So if you have multiple products, if you have links with referral partners, maybe an insurance provider, their information could be displayed for the consumers here in the locker. Each with a unique customizable call to action button. So this button can be programmed to go to a website, could go to an email address. In the case of this demo today, I'm going to show you how we enable a mortgage application to start from a locker using this widget. So for the consumer, how are they invited into a locker? So if we think about a up the sales funnel experience, especially first-time home buyers, the first time a loan officer is introduced to a consumer and who's in that journey towards home ownership, they can invite that borrower into a locker to help them prepare and get ready for the process. And they can do that in a couple of ways. We can build a landing page for the originator that can direct the consumer to more information on the locker and then the link into sign up, or a direct invitation directly to the sign up page can be sent from your CRM. Either way, FinLocker works with our clients to kind of build out that invitation journey. Once the consumer is invited to the locker, it's literally a 4-step process to sign up. And then once they sign up, they're in this locker dashboard environment. Again, we're viewing the dashboard or the desktop view of FinLocker. Everything we're going to show you today is accessible in the mobile app as well. So one of the first things the consumer would do when they're invited in, the locker would ask them if they want to enroll their credit. So there's about a 60-second process where they go through a identity verification process, answer some out-of-wallet questions, and then once that happens, this credit widget comes to life. We provide the consumer access to their credit score. It's a Vantage score 3.0. This is updated once per month. And then clicking into the widget, the user actually can now see their entire credit report and actually drill into specific accounts in their credit report. We have helpful links here to the right for credit education. And then quick links here to the left will allow the user, if they want to opt out of the various trigger lead, opt-outs, do not call registry, etc. Following credit enrollment, most consumers start to add their financial accounts. The locker will ask them if they'd like to add their financial accounts. So I'm going to click into our accounts widget. And now you're going to see in this case, this locker has several financial accounts already enrolled. The green font represents asset accounts, checking, savings, etc. The red font represents liability accounts. We have a mortgage and a couple credit cards. Adding account is super easy. You just type in the name of your financial institution. So I'm a loyal Flagstar Bank client. There's my Flagstar Bank online account. I would enter my credentials like I was logging into Flagstar Bank, click login, and then I would get a text from Flagstar, which would authenticate this my phone and allow that account to enroll. Important to note here, once you've enrolled financial accounts, the locker starts to bring in transactional data. So 70% of the accounts that we're able to enroll in a locker, we can bring in 12 to 24 months of transactional data upon initial enrollment. And then every evening, the locker will harvest the transactional data from that prior day's transactions. So over here to the right, you can see all the transactional data. This locker has nearly 5,000 transactions in it. I can go back and look at it back in time. I can sort it by account, by category. I'm going to jump back to the dashboard and show you a couple widgets that come to life once the user has started to add their financial accounts. The first one is our spending widget. So we're going to click into our spending widget, and I'm going to go back and look at the full month of June here just to give us a clear, full picture of June. So now what the user's seeing is all of the expenses in the month of June categorized by the locker. And so you can see up here, we've got this donut widget where I can hover over and see the different categories of spending. I can also go down to this table view. We're going to click in and we're going to filter down now to food and dining expenses in the month of June. So when I click in there, all of my transactional data to the right is now sorted for the month of June by food and dining. And then you can see we even filter deeper restaurants versus groceries. I think we even have fast food and alcohol and bars, go figure. So a very detailed view of transactional spending for the user, which then powers the ability to set budgets and goals as well. We've got a few budgets that are set up under food and dining here. I'm going to go back and show you our detailed budget now from the dashboard. So once the user has set up their first financial account, this budget and goals widget comes to life. And there's two options for users here. We have a detailed or a custom budget, which is what we're in here, but I'm going to show you for lack of time here, the detailed budget, which is our beta product that we've built out. So we've taken the HUD approved housing counseling budget, and once the user has input their income into the locker, and we get to this concept of a net income, so they've one time set up their standard deductions on their paychecks. The locker now knows and understands the net income. We're gonna track the actual direct deposits against that net income, but the FinLocker now automatically sets up line item budgets for this user using the HUD approved housing counseling budget off of that net income. So we've automated the budget setting process, and then we're tracking actual expenses as they occur by line item and providing feedback to the user on how they're progressing relative to their budget. Especially helpful for first-time home buyers who just need to get a handle on spending and saving for that down payment. Moving fast here because there's a lot to tackle. So a couple other financial widgets that are available, which we're not going to look at here, but we've got cash flow analysis, asset allocation. So if you have checking, savings, investment accounts, et cetera, and then a net worth statement. I want to pivot over to real estate real quick and show you a couple widgets that are focused on real estate. For consumers who are already homeowners, they can enroll their property address, and now we will track the value of that property. We have an integration with CoreLogic. We bring in the estimated home value. And then remember in the accounts widget, there was a mortgage that was enrolled in the locker, and we have the actual original balance, or the outstanding balance rather, on the mortgage account against the estimated value. So we're able to display and show our consumer their estimated available equity. This helps in making suggestions and recommendations for consumers in their locker when it's a good time to refinance, pay off high interest credit cards, et cetera. We also provide the nosy neighbor feature. So this is our recently sold properties near the subject property. For our consumers in a locker who are on the journey towards home ownership or buying a new home, we also have the ability to search for real estate in the locker itself. So I'm going to click into some favorited properties that I've already searched for in this locker. And you can see those are all showing up here. I can drill into any one of these and go into the listing ticket and see kind of updates on any properties I've searched for in the locker. The benefit here for the consumer is obviously they can do a lot more in the locker itself. And then a side benefit for the originator is when the consumer searching for real estate in the locker, they're not on some other site where they're being basically marketed to or aggregated as a lead and sold. The loan officer here is one of our employees. This would actually be our lender's loan officer in this listing ticket. So let me go back to the dashboard and show you now a couple things around education and readiness. So we've got a deep library of education content and videos. And then we have a readiness assessment, which I mentioned. This readiness assessment starts to analyze the data in the consumer's locker once they've filled out their profile, enrolled credit, and at least one asset account. And now the locker is analyzing against a set of guidelines. Today, we default to Fannie Freddie guidelines. And we're going to tell the consumer and give them transparency on where they stand with respect to things like their credit. So in this case, once it's done doing its analytics, it's going to tell us that the locker's verified, no bankruptcies, no foreclosures, no late payments. But then we get down to debt to income, and our ratio is about twice the guideline. In this case, we'll display a video, short video, explaining what debt to income ratio is. And then once they've learned about debt to income ratio, they can learn about budgeting and how to set up budgets in the locker.
Wow.
And finally, I'm moving fast, Andrew.
I mean, there's so much. I can't believe this thing.
It's tough to do in 15 minutes, but I want to show you just real quick, kind of the money shot, as they say. So once we get to a place where the consumer's ready to start their mortgage application, they've been groomed, educated, and are prepared. They click the call to action, apply now, and FinLocker now aggregates the information from the consumer's profile, their enrolled accounts, the credit report, as well as their self-reported information, and can enable a mortgage application to be shared with their originator. So here's our sharing screen where the consumer now can decide which accounts they want to share from and which documents they want to share. So in this case, tax returns, a couple pay stubs, and we'll just say a letter of explanation. And they're going to consent and acknowledge to share. And now FinLocker is sending an email to our loan officer. So here's the email. I'm the loan officer in this case. And we're going to go click into the link into the admin portal of FinLocker, where I can now see the accounts that were shared. Those are the financial accounts, the pay statements, tax returns, my mortgage statement, letter of credit. When I click accept, now I'm fast. This is like a cooking show. I'm going to go fast forward to the completed product. Here's the documents that were sent to me from the locker: pay statements, tax returns, the Fannie Mae 3.2 file, which is the data set, as well as a MISMO 2.1. And then we create an asset report, which we take the digital asset data and create an asset report for the lender to use in their underwriting process. So that's the speed version of FinLocker, Andrew.
I can't believe it. I mean, this thing is amazing. So now let me ask you this: is there actually any so if I get signed up a mortgage company, is there a maximum number of users? Do I pay on a per user basis? I mean, how does that work out? Because I'm thinking actually, listen to me actually, I would be marketing this as a service that I provide free to the community, because they're steps away from a mortgage here.
That's right. So there's a lot to unpack in that question, but I'll do my best here. So we have a couple different pricing models. We do have an enterprise model where the mortgage banker, servicer, bank, credit union type institution would pay a license fee per year per locker to FinLocker, and then a transaction fee when a consumer shares from their locker for the purposes of a mortgage application.
Yeah.
We also have a license agreement that goes down to the individual loan officer. So we support individual loan officers, whether they're at a mortgage broker shop, mortgage banker, bank, or credit union. And again, that's a license fee that provides that individual LO with up to 125 active lockers under that license.
Wow, that's amazing. So, and are people doing that? Are people using this as a tool, actually going out there, offering actually a financial wellness tool that is, listen, I mean, not for nothing. I mean, Mint is great, and there's some great tools out there. But I mean, this goes a step beyond and allows you to connect with a financial professional. Because listen, you're sitting down with these borrowers, you're having these conversations anyway, but usually actually, the conversation about your financial wellness starts and ends with that application. So once it's done, all the good things that they talked about, and they just don't follow through. This sounds like something that actually is something that helps your future clients set themselves up for a future loan and also for future financial success.
Yeah, I mean, there's two barbells that I like to describe. There's the up the sales funnels, first-time home buyers, folks that aren't quite ready. And so when they come into an originator's sales funnel and they're not ready, a lot of times I hear people say, oh, I send them to Credit Karma, or I send them to mint.com to get their budget in order. So the locker becomes that tool for that consumer under your brand, your logo as a loan officer. So you don't have to send them anywhere else. They stay inside your ecosystem. So the locker is really meant to help them understand their financial life, provide education and content. I didn't get to show you, but we built a curriculum specific for first-time homebuyers that serves up meaningful education along the way. And then to your point, Andrew, once they become ready, all their data is in the locker. Documents that they've stored along the way is there to really streamline that mortgage application.
So cool. That's so cool. So this is great. This is awesome. I think our next guest actually is a director of sales over at Mortgages Unlimited. So he's actually going to share his tech stack program and what he has going on there. I'm going to ask him for a job because I want to actually put this stuff to use. I'm going to actually pass my. I probably won't be able to pass my NMLS, but anyway, it's a nice fantasy when you see cool tools like this. So hopefully my buddy Edwin will actually consider me going to work with. But Brian, thank you so much. There's a lot of people actually that when they registered for this event, they specifically asked for information about FinLocker. So we'll definitely connect you with everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really, really appreciate it. And thank you for being literally the first person who signed up and kind of actually had the faith actually in this event. And we already have our next one scheduled for August 11th. So,
all right. Well, thanks for having us. Appreciate
all right.
it.
We'll talk to you, Brian. Take care. All right. So without further ado, so one of the things actually that we are doing here is we're bringing live originators to share what they have going on. So because this is not just about the enterprise. This is not just about covering actually what we think actually is a good solution for the originators, but this is actually something where we actually bring originators and sales managers like my good buddy Edwin Arocho. Edwin, thank you so much for joining us, buddy.
How are you, man? Great to have to be on this with you and share some insight. Totally excited. And that FinLocker stuff, I'm gonna have to revisit that.
Is that crazy? I mean, it's like something. I mean, to me, actually, so I think actually there's a couple of things about that. About the FinLocker thing. I think it's from an enterprise standpoint. The things that it could do actually, for portfolio retention, keep those loans with you, I think are a great thing. But from an originator standpoint, I mean, just think about that. Like, so, I mean, we're going around actually talking about, hey, can you do a loan with us? Do a loan with us. Do a loan with us. But you're not actually doing it. Your conversation changes and say, hey, listen, we want to help you become actually financially, but we want to help you step up your financial game. And FinLocker is exactly that kind of tool. So you and I actually, we had a little text actually talking about some of the things that you do as far as your tech stack. I don't know if you want to share any screens or you just want to just kind of spitball it here.
Yeah, I could spitball or I could share some screens and stuff like that as well. So usually when we're talking about personal sales, or when we're talking to our 50 mortgage planners from New York to California, one of the things that we're always talking about that we want a tech stack to do is there's one thing to have tech, right? And say we have all these tools. And there's another thing to have technology that's relevant to a specific originator, right? Because not every originator is going to be compelled to use a CRM if they've been using the Franklin Planner all their life, right? It's just
showing your age, Eddie. You look. Everyone thought you were like this young, youthful kid. Actually, he's talking about a Franklin Planner.
I think I'm still young. I don't know.
He is actually.
Okay, that's for sure. But when we look at tech, I think for because there's so much out there, right? There's so many CRMs and there's so many LOSs and point of sales, and really you really have to sit down with the originator and kind of focus on what their business model is and analyze their strengths, right? So one of the pieces of tech that we're starting to use right now is a really simple DISC assessment, to be able to understand the producer from a very high level, and then attempt to plug in their strengths with either technology or support operationally. So, but today what I want to do is just talk about straight origination. Like, what technology are we currently leveraging? And me, I also produce, right? So I run the sales team as a corporate sales director, but I'm also producing as well. So when we're speaking to our guys, I just have one thing I want to share with you.
Fantastic. Let you should pop up in a second. You got that share screen button down there.
Right here, right? So pillars of a structured business plan. We just got this from, this is from just a class that we took with Zinix, right? They talk about lead acquisition, lead conversion, lead retention, and lead leveraging, right? So, what type of technology do we have in place to be able to do all that, right? So obviously, being attractive and having a good website to bring leads to is always a good plan, right? So that's what we have here, is just make sure that wherever you're acquiring your leads, whether it's from Facebook or from Instagram or from purchasing leads on Bankrate, like I do for my personal production, that you're bringing them somewhere where they can actually, the individual can, or the homeowner or the home buyer can kind of relate to your vision, right? So just make sure you have a good, clear message. So a point of sale system is very important to have, and just make sure that the landing page works itself out. So the lead acquisition, right? So in order to get lead acquisition, one of the things that we're doing right now, Bill Hillstead says that we should all be looking to build a database and nurture a database, right? So we use a system called HomeBot AI. I'm sure, Andrew, have you heard of it?
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yep. Awesome. So people they were actually, I heard so many people raving about them. We're actually, hopefully they'll join us for the next Originator Tech event.
Yeah. And it's so awesome because eventually this could become a hub for everybody's tech stack, because the technology that they have, the API and the SDK integrations, you can plug in a number of different other platforms here and then just create one main hub, so you don't have to be working off of 3 logins or 6 different logins. Cause that makes things more difficult. Anything that makes your process more difficult throughout the day is not going to be, your originators or you are not going to drink the Kool-Aid. So anytime.
So Edwin, just out of curiosity, so do you kind of use it as like a Zapier?
Yeah. So there's actual customized integrations in here. I can plug in video email. My BombBomb can plug into here. I can reach out through I could treat this as my own CRM. I can link my mortgage coaches in here, my BombBomb, sales Boomerang. So a number of different technologies I'm already leveraging using separate logins and user passwords. Now I can all integrate it in here and use this as my main hub for leveraging the technology. So, and here's Zapier right here. You could funnel things through here into Zapier and have that one all-encompassing product that doesn't exist in the space right now. That doesn't exist in the space right now. But going back to here, right? So think about it, right? The national average of open emails rates is 15 to 25%. So what happens when you place a home buyer or potential homeowner from any one of your lead acquisition tools, right? You're sending them what's called I'm just going to use this as an example, a digest that's relevant to them managing their mortgage debt, right? So instead of sending them a cookie recipe, you're telling them, hey, your house is worth $469,000. If you want to make an offer, you can make an offer, and then we can connect you with one of our agents. If you want to know your net worth, it's right here in black and white. And now you're sharing relevant information in regards to what they care about, which is what's my house worth, what do I owe on the mortgage, If I sell, what do I make? And now we could share information in regards to different scenarios that they can take advantage of to place themselves in a better financial situation. Because the goal here, when you're using tech to engage with a client, is to help educate them on how they can improve their current financial status. And HomeBot does that without having to chat with the client. And then the client can take action on potentially reaching out to you. So HomeBot, again, it's good for us to provide a client or a potential prospect with information about their house, or if it's a potential home buyer, that's a homeowner. But if we have a home buyer, we can give them relevant information to the specific zip codes that they're interested in. For example, Jenny was interested in purchasing in a specific zip code, and we could tell her that that zip code is either, a hot area to buy in or not, right? And then we could actually give them insight in regards to what properties in that town are available at her purchase price.
Wow. So
it's extremely robust. It does take some time to learn, but at the end of the day, we could say, hey, there's only one house on that in that zip code for you that makes sense. And now we're hyper focusing the conversation around not, hey, what can you afford, but it's, hey, let's educate you on what you can afford. Let's educate you on the area that you want to buy. And now that buyer is more laser focused. So when we introduce them to a realtor, now that realtor doesn't have to show them 50 houses. Maybe they're only showing them 10 because that individual is better educated. So lead acquisition, we're leveraging this to manage pipelines. Also, we're asking agents to place themselves into this as well, so we can nurture pipelines together as well. So it's a great collaboration tool. And then the other thing is lead conversion. We use Mortgage Coach a lot. Every time somebody sits down with us in a discovery call, we review their immediate, short, and long-term goals, and then create financial strategies and solutions to help them, realize home ownership. So in this case, we have a client. He's looking at a house for $460,000. He wants to know if he went 30,000 over asking, which is the atmosphere that we're in right now, Andrew, right? Especially on the East Coast. So with that said, I'm easily able to tell him, listen, if you go 30,000 over asking, you'll be able to have the house for only $133 more a month. And being able to leverage this tool and do it quickly. And then I also copy a video and I email this to them. So if I don't have time to reach out to them, at least I sent them the data and then they can take action on it as well. So that's how we're leveraging Mortgage Coach with home buyers right now, showing them the difference between over asking prices. We're also sharing with homeowners. Let me just give you homeowners refinance opportunities. Right? Strategy 1, 2%. Strategy 2, 2 1/8, 2 1/4. Rather than shopping with other lenders, I leverage this and have them shop within me for different options and strategies. So Mortgage Coach has actually helped me online. I think the average conversion ratio online with online leads is approximately 3 to 5%. We've been leveraging Mortgage Coach to communicate with online leads, and right now we're running at about 17% conversion ratio because we're utilizing this tool.
Wow.
So again, another really good piece when we talk about lead acquisition, lead nurturing, and then lead leveraging. Every client that comes into our system, this works in the background, so myself and our originators aren't paying attention too much except for when we get an alert. But sales Boomerang, talk about knowing when that person with the low FICO score is eligible, knowing when somebody has 20,000 in their bank account, knowing when somebody has consumer debt over 15,000. That's vision that you don't have, right? Back in the day, we used to just make 100 phone calls and hope that one of the 100 phone calls, somebody was like, "Oh yeah, I need your help." And this technology that we have in our hands right now during this gold rush is like, it's crazy. It just lends for you to be more focused on and manage better throughout the day. So this has helped us gain about, I'm going to give you some stats here, an extra $1 million in volume a month on a data set of 3,000 leads. So I'm sure there's companies out there right now that are like, I have 30,000. Well, if you do, you may want to consider looking into Sales Boomerang to increase and fill in the gaps in some of your locations. So this has been really good for us as of late. So again, I know I'm going a little fast here, Andrew. I don't know how much time I have here again, but.
So we have another 4 minutes left, but I'm just so if we were to look at actually your entire tech stack, what was the biggest game changer? What was like the because listen, you have some unbelievable tools here. Like some of my favorite pieces of technology here are already actually here. But like, which was the game changer? Which was the one actually that when you put this in, your originators were like, oh my God.
Right. So I think personally, it's I would say it would be this, because even though you have a mortgage coach, though you have an opportunity to speak with somebody, I think what you really need to be able to do is give them a high level education around mortgage strategies, right? So this is a conversion tool. So I would say this is the one that mortgage coach and the mortgage coach tool, the advice engine tool, because it leads to closings. It leads to other opportunities when somebody has a clear opportunity to make a decision. So I would say the best as of right now, I need to be able to convert as a producer. So I would use Mortgage Coach. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think actually, if we were to ask 100 loan officers, they probably would say actually at least 75% of them would say Mortgage Coach. That total cost analysis is just such a game changer. So now, do you use anything in terms of for watching the market, watching to see where MBSs go and how to communicate that with your borrowers?
Yeah, a great question. I mean, a good friend of mine named Andrew Berman put me on to CMBS. So I leverage this a lot with my clients, and I go in here and I'm just constantly watching. I talk to capital markets. They tell me where to pay attention, what to pay attention to in regards to coupons, and this is what I'm looking at all day long. And I monitor from here. This is the easiest one because it's just easy to read. I do use and leverage Rate Watch with Dan Rawich, but for consumer facing, I think this is just color scheme and the ability to be able to just express. I've been using this to kind of watch the market. Now, our capital markets director uses MBS Highway. There's no doubt.
Yep.
If your capital markets director is using it, you should be. But I do this because I'm more consumer facing, and I feel UMBS works very well, consumer facing as well as LO. But this is just easy to get to and easily defined. But yeah, this is what I'm using right now for consumer facing.
That's fantastic. And what do you use for content creation? Well, what do you use?
So content creation, we actually have internal. So I have a couple things here. We have an internal marketing company too, and then I use Keeping Current Matters.
Interesting.
So I leverage Keeping Current Matters just so you guys are aware. So anytime I post something that I want to be able to, anytime you're posting, right, you want to be able to leverage Instagram to have people kind of know and like you. You want to leverage Facebook to have people engage in your content, and then LinkedIn for you to be that person that's engaging with content and comes off as an authority in your specific industry, right? So I like Keeping Current Matters because it provides me tools to be able to do all that in all those three omni channels, right? They call them omni channels, right?
Yeah.
So I use social graphics from Keeping Current Matters. I'll take a look at something that I might like for buyers that I want to put out, or for sellers, or maybe I want to do something about interest rates for the day. I'll pick a quote. I'll take a look at the messaging that it gave me, and then I can customize where my logo goes. And then I just curate this, right? They give you a little bit of content, and then you can say, that doesn't really feel like me or sound like me. You could curate it. You could add your own hashtags and then set it out. So in regards to social content, I'm leveraging Keeping Current Matters extremely heavy because I have a lot of writer's block.
That's great, dude. That's awesome. Really, really appreciate it. Listen, man, it's so cool. Like, of you to kind of share everything. I mean, just think about this. Like 10 years ago, if you would have said actually that you're going to go on and share your secret sauce. I mean, this is it. This is reason why you're successful. Reason why actually your company's successful. You're sharing everything here, and it's just it's a great place actually to be in an industry that does that and it shares. And Edwin, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it, and to get a look underneath the hood of why Mortgages Unlimited and why Edwin's so successful.
No, appreciate you. And you gave us the platform to be able to share. And I think that's what makes the difference as well. If there weren't individuals like you in the industry making this available, we wouldn't be able to share great ideas and great opportunities with each other. So, thank you, brother.
Fantastic. All right, brother. I'll talk to you later. All right. So my next guest. So we have another tech stack share. And this is going to be the last one for now until actually the end of today, around I think about 1:40. We have one last one, but I am so excited to bring you actually next. So let me get actually Shashank to join us here. There he is, Shashank Shekhar. Shashank, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. So, and by the way, I don't know if everyone has already seen, but Shashank was on the cover of National Mortgage Professional Magazine for last month. Hopefully, you got a copy of that. If not, go to actually to our website. We do have the archives somewhere on there. But very, very excited to have Shashank join us today. I think everyone knows who you are already, but just in case, tell us actually, give us a quick introduction about the powerhouse that is Shashank Shekhar.
Of course, after being on the cover of NMP, I'm sure there are a few million more people that know me. But yes, I run a mortgage company out of California, San Jose, and last year, I did 235 million in personal production. The company itself, Arcus, is licensed now in 17 states with physical locations in about 10 states. And
Shashank, how many units was that?
620 units, and of course we will exceed that number this year. So.
And with it, you have a team of like 20 people, right?
For my personal production, 3 people, yes.
It's insane.
Very close.
It is just insane. Yeah. So that's great. So I didn't mean to I always love hearing the story. So sure. And you came into this business with like a family that was in the business, right? And you were given actually a silver spoon in the mortgage business, or was that not the case?
Fourth generation, yes.
Yes.
I was a year and a half in the country, and $1,900 is what we started Arcus with. And literally, I knew just 3 people in the entire country back then. So, of course, we talk about a sphere of influence all the time. And say, hey, those are the first people you should go to if you're in the real estate or mortgage business. And of course, I had none. And it was 2008 when nobody was really buying or refinancing. So it was perfect storm for me to launch something like this. And probably totally crazy and stupid looking back at it, but things have panned out okay so far.
Yeah, I think so. So that's great. So listen, and we brought you on here to kind of talk a little bit about your tech stack. I don't know if you want to just talk about it, or if there's anything you want to show on your screen. But tell us actually, a little bit about what you do actually, in terms of the technology you provide for originators, and then you personally, like what does that look like? Because I'm gonna when you have how many loan officers do you have working for you?
Now about 40 loan officers.
Okay, so 40 loan officers, they don't actually you don't have all the same needs as them. So what you use in your tech stack might be vastly different than what they use in the tech stack. So talk about actually, overall, what's the tech stack look like for all of your originators?
Sure. First of all, Edwin did a great job. I was watching it the backstage for last 10-15 minutes. I think his tech stack totally rocks. Pretty much everything that he uses, I'll recommend whether I'm using that or not personally, but big fan of most of the tech platforms that he was talking about. One thing, even before we get into the specifics, Andrew, in terms of which tools that we use or which technology that we use, I'm a big strategy guy. For me, everything is about, okay, I want technology. What's your technology strategy? And some people are like, as in, what does that really mean? I just want HomeBot, or I just want Mortgage Coach, or whatever the technology platform out there is. And for me, when I think of technology, I first think of, what is it that I want to achieve from this technology? Not so much what the technology does by itself. And a lot of time, one of the biggest failures that you will see is the tech implementation, not just within our industry, but across industries. That there are really promising techs, but when you try to implement it, it does not go anywhere, or worse, it actually sets you back because now it took you so many months to try to implement it and you could not. So there is a three-point strategy that I use when I'm thinking of new technology, or should I be implementing this or not. One is that, does it reduce errors? That's huge, because I think the biggest problem with multiple technology platforms right now is double data entry, or triple or quadruple. It's like you enter data on your loan origination system, but now you have Mortgage Coach, or now you have HomeBot. Now you have all these disparate technology platforms, and they don't talk to each other all the time, which means you have more work. Even if the technology does a lot of things, there's a lot of double data entry right now in the tech stack for a lot of loan officers. So see if you can get away with that. So reduces error. Two, does this bolster efficiency? So again, instead of decreasing your work, is it increasing your work? Like, are you managing the technology, or is the technology helping you? And finally, does it improve your customer experience? If the technology does not meet any of these three criteria, I would probably not implement my technology platform. So when we talk over the next few minutes, you will see that I have carefully picked and chosen my technology, not so much because what the technology does by itself, but how does it integrate with my rest of the process? Because if you just look at a shiny object and you're like, this is amazing, what it does is great, but it does not work with your process flow right now, or your team is not going to buy into it, this is not going to work. A lot of time, for example, I have used technology in the past, and I've learned from my mistake where the processor had to update the status on the loan origination system, but now they had to go to Flowify and update it all over again, because my loan origination system will not integrate with, say, Flowify, for example. I'm just taking examples here.
Yeah.
So it's very important that you do that, because otherwise, even the best of the tech platforms will probably not work very well, because either you're doing double data entry, or you're just increasing the work for your team. So having a tech strategy even before you implement one is very important.
Fantastic.
So I can take next 15-20 minutes and kind of walk you through some of the things that I use. And again, for everyone listening and watching, there is no perfect tech flow or tech platform, so to say. So what works for me may not work for you. What worked for Edwin may not work for me. And for a long time, I remember a funny story, Andrew. I was speaking at a very small mortgage, the MREV conference, which wasn't a conference that year. We were in Arizona, so it was a very small kind of just friends kind of an event. And you have been, of course, a huge supporter of that from the first time we did that.
Yeah.
And we were probably 20, 25 of us, whatever. And everyone was speaking before me, and they were talking about all these cool techs that they were using. And I go on the stage. It wasn't even so much of a stage. It was a hotel room or something. And I show them Google Docs. That was my big tech stuff at that time, because I used to use Google Docs for everything, for my pipeline management. And by the way, staying on Google Docs is, I think you asked Edwin a question before I came live, is that, was there one thing that totally changed your business? And you'll be surprised. For me, that was the entire Google stack, which is free, by the way, the entire Google suite. But for me, again, I was talking about the fact that it should integrate with your process. We use Google app for our email system as well. So again, if you're an Outlook person, it may not work for you because it's a completely different platform for you. But our entire team sits on the Google platform already. So any kind of sharing that we have, any kind of collab that we have, it's so much easier to work off of Google Docs and Google Sheets and Google Slides, because anyone can edit it. We can share it. Multiple people can work on it at the same time. And I have managed my pipeline even now, as in I literally have one of the tabs open on on my desktop right now on Google Sheets. Of course, my loan origination system does that and everything, is because how quickly I can filter and sort and share and get the intelligence that I want through Google Sheets. It's very difficult to get it anywhere, just because of the flexibility of it. And so, again, when we talk about technology, it does not have to be a super high-end. Not to say that Google Docs is not a high-end platform, but it's nothing expensive. It's almost free, depending on what plan you are on. And that was the first, I would say, for me, that was my tech stack, my Google Sheet and my Google Doc, and
that was your CRM, right? That was your CRM.
That was my CRM. Yeah, I could go in literally at any point of time and sort my rate by less than 3.5%. And by the way, if any of you watching, and if you subscribe to MLO Masterclass, which is my training program, I have uploaded the exact pipeline management format that I use even until now, and probably will use forever until I'm originating, is because of all the complicated pipeline management and loan origination system there. I still believe that is probably the simplest, most powerful, and the easiest to get to the information that you want to get to.
That's great. And I believe you have a lot of different tools on MLO Masterclass like that. Like, you just basically share everything. If it's working for you, you go out there. Now, I want to ask you, we have and John Barrows asked, what program do you use for social media marketing? You could share with us whether it's you individually or the Arcus Lending as an organization.
Sure. Yeah. So as a company, and again personally, there are 2 or 3 tools that we use quite a lot. We use Canva for all our graphics. That's CANVA. Again, it's probably the easiest. You really need no design experience at all. A second grader can probably design really cool looking graphics of Canva. If you want some really cool videos, Promo, PROMO, is a website. Again, a lot of the videos are already done. You kind of change the script. You can make transitions. Again, super easy. You'll probably learn doing this in 10 to 15 minutes. Really, really cool videos there. They have a ton of real estate / mortgage videos that you can use off of the template. And it does not look like a templated video, even though they have one. And then I've used WowMe as an agency to shoot a lot of videos. So maybe John is seeing a lot of my videos on social media platforms. Some of those are shot professionally, but they were shot in LA, and that was done by an agency called WowMe. But those probably would be, of course, my top 3 social media marketing tools that I'm using. Of course, I blog a lot, but that's on WordPress, and I wouldn't call that social media marketing. Essentially, that's more an education platform. But that's my tech stack, so to say, on social media marketing.
So what about for your LOS?
Yeah, so LOS is Byte, and I want to walk through the entire process flow because, as I said, I'm a big believer that your technology should follow the process flow versus the other way around, where you're forcing your process flow to follow the technology. So your process flow starts very early. I'm assuming that pretty much all of us have some kind of lead capture form on their website, on their blog, or social media, whatever. So that starts is that if someone comes to arcuslending.com or mortgageblog.com and clicks on, hey, get me a free rate quote, and then so I use lead pops for that. So lead pops, they have learned from the founder itself has learned from his time with working with some of the biggest brands, and I think he has built the lead flow that works very, very well with my website visitors. The good thing about lead pops for me is that then it integrates with my CRM, which is Be in Touch. So again, there's no double data entry. Something that I keep harping on is the fact that I don't get leads from lead pops and then someone manually goes and enters it on Be in Touch. Lead pops already has an integration with Be in Touch. By the way, if you don't know that there is an integration or not, of course, we have come a long way because of Zapier's and the APIs of the world, which wasn't the case before. I remember 5 years back, there was no way to integrate anything. Everything were standalone technology platforms. That has gotten so much better now because of course, Zapier and the API that most open platforms have right now. So anyway, so lead pops comes into Be in Touch. So I get an email, or my team gets an email, but also the lead sits sits in Be in Touch. That's your first step. Now, once you have sold them the rate or the deal, whatever that you're trying to sell it to, then we use the point of sale system. We use Simple Nexus for that, which is probably the most advanced point of sale system right now in terms of the fact that you get your own app. They have a mobile first technology that they use. Of course, you can use it on desktop, but your borrowers can complete online application, upload their documents, even get their income and asset automatically verified if they want to. And all of that, again, is we have Simple Nexus has bi-directional integration with Byte, which is huge because this is something, again, we don't pay attention to. We usually think of unidirectional integration, which means that anything that gets uploaded on Simple Nexus or updated on Simple Nexus gets moved to my loan origination system. But if you have a bi-directional integration, that means that updates that happen on Byte also gets changed on Simple Nexus. That's really next gen of technology, because so far, most of the platforms, probably 99% of the platforms that I know, only has unidirectional integration. So one time it will move from one place to the other, but it won't keep changing when you change one platform. And again, that brings in double data entry, because now that if you want to use Simple Nexus later on, you will have to update all the data there. So we use Simple Nexus, integrates with Byte. Byte integrates with Be in Touch. So as you can see, where I'm going with this is that all my technology platforms talk to each other. So any status update that the processor does in Byte automatically gets emailed through Be in Touch saying, hey, your loan is approved, your loan is whatever, your loan cleared for close, the appraisal has been ordered, depending on which parties are set up in Byte. So it's all the status updates go through that. And when the loan funds, then we have an integration with a company called EvaBot. It's a Silicon Valley company which is into gifting. It's a VC funded company, but I had looked at so many gifting platforms and everything was so manual, because I used to use Harry and David and this and that, or cookies, or everything was manual. I had to tell my assistant or somebody who was in charge of it, and they had to go to their website and actually order it. EvaBot, their founders, reached out to me and demoed me the product, and I was completely wowed by it because of two things. One is that they have a Zapier integration with Be in Touch. So the moment my loan, and by the way, if you're looking for it, the website is called EvaBot, EVABOT.ai, which is short for artificial intelligence. So
give that to me one more time.
It's EvaBot, EVABOT.ai. So AI is short for artificial intelligence, because AI is not that common an extension.
Fantastic. I'm going to drop it in the chat box here.
Sure. So what EvaBot does, interestingly, is that one, of course, it has Zapier integration with my Be in Touch. So again, I don't have to manually tell EvaBot, hey, order gift for my client. It automatically, the moment the status changes to funded, it automatically triggers a gifting process from their bot. And the cool thing is, because I tested it myself, is that it actually asks my borrowers a few questions like, hey, do you like coffee or tea? Do you like getting surprised by, say, chocolates? Or is nuts your thing? Are you into healthy eating? So literally, it has a very dynamic question set that it asks them for about 2 minutes in a very friendly way. It's actually fun to answer those questions. And then customizes gifts packaged here in the US and gets shipped from their location here in Northern California. So it's very, very customized, because when they sent it to me, I was like, whoa, that's the coffee bean I was looking for, or that's the roasted almonds that I was looking for. It's like, because otherwise, what do? You go to Harry and David, or you go to any gifting platform and find something that you think they would like.
Yeah.
You send them cookies, or you send them fruits, or just the standard stuff. And there is no engagement that you get from the borrower side. In this case, borrowers or realtors, whatever. In this case, you get that engagement. They get the gift that they actually picked, so to say. They don't know what the gift would be, but kind of customize their gift themselves. And it prompts them to leave a review just at the time when they are expecting that gift, or when they get the gift. So it's from psychology perspective, it's the perfect time. We have added 25 new reviews in the last 4 weeks of implementing Eva. So it has been huge for us. It's probably going to be our #1 strategy in terms of increasing our number of reviews on different platforms. But it's very well designed. It has taken all the pain out of gifting, and you can, again, it's not very expensive. You can pick like a $30 price range if you want to. You can pick a $50 price range. So it's not as if it's a very, very expensive gift, but really pretty much handcrafted, hand-packed, and shipped right here from the US. So that's the last part of my flow. So yeah, it starts from lead pops, ends with Eva in terms of the entire customer experience that we provide to our borrowers. Now, other than that, I think there are a few more things that I use that I want to talk about. Is that one of the things that I use. I'm huge on time management, Andrew. You know that. I mean, probably if I have to tell one of my superpowers, that will probably be time management, given how much work that I get done in a limited period of time. So there are a couple of things that I use, especially one thing. And again, I have a full masterclass on time management on MLO Masterclass if you want to check that out. But I talk about 6 Ds of time management, one of which is digitized, which is how much of your time that you can digitize and improve time. And one of the tools that I use is called Text Expander. And so it's Text Expander, it's spelled just like that. And it emailed me just yesterday saying that I saved 3 hours, 41 minutes last month using Text Expander. So that's a lot of time, by the way. If all of us are how busy we are, that's saving me a ton of time. All Text Expander does is that you can have small snippets. You can call it whatever you want. And then you can literally from there on, you can just everything expands. So it's templates that you have for refis and purchase and everything, and you can expand on that. Calendly is huge for me. Everything about going back and forth about scheduling appointments is gone because we are doing that. And then for team communication, Andrew talked about it, Skype, we use that because you can use screen share, you can do video, audio. For larger team meetings, of course, we use Zoom. And then Loom is probably the last thing that I want to talk about. Loom is like BombBomb, if you have used BombBomb before, but you can do a screen share with just you or just the screen or both of you together. We do a lot of training videos. I sent a lot of borrower rate codes explaining them, the process and everything through Loom. Very, very easy. It just sits on your computer as an extension. So we can go on, but really, I think for anyone, the strategy itself is way more important.
Yeah, I think doing it and actually implementing and putting these things into place. Shashank, thank you so much. If someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Jump onto mlomasterclass.com if you're a loan officer, or just search me on Instagram. Shashank Redemption is my handle. So that's
or check out the July issue of National Mortgage Professional.
Yes.
So fantastic. All right, Shashank, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Okay, so next, I am super excited to bring to you Zenly by Calyx. What's up, Virginia? We have Virginia.
Hey, how are you?
Take two. Virginia Minter, who is going to take us through a really, really hot, exciting new tool. I'm really, really excited to hear this. I mean, to me, I was excited when they announced this. It's a cool tool, especially if you're a mortgage broker. Man, this is like the hot new LOS for you. And I mean, listen, Calyx has had a legacy of being like the de facto LOS for mortgage brokers for decades now. But like this Zenly, and you guys took it to the next level. So whenever you're ready, Virginia, you want to give it a quick introduction and let me know when you want to share your screen.
Okay. All right. So my name is Virginia Minter. I have worked with Calyx for a little over 7 years. I do have mortgage background, so I originated for 22 years, and I also processed in that time. So I have been there and I've done that, and I have felt your pain. So the product that we have today is called Zenly. Zenly is truly in the cloud. It is not a download on a computer. So what we want to be these days is mobile. And we also want our borrower to have that mobile experience. And that's what Zenly is going to do for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and hopefully this is going to work.
Fingers crossed. All right. Ready when you are.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
Hold on for a sec. Let's see what we got here. I don't see the thing that says to share your screen yet. You hit the share screen below thing?
Okay, I hit share screen. Share screen.
And you just got to select the window. And oh, there we go. I think I see something. Oh no, that's not. That's actually our next guest here. Hold on for a second.
Okay, so I see my Zenly on your.
Okay. So I think actually it's it might be a matter of maybe just accepting it. I'm just trying to see. Hold on for a second. And if need be, I could just log in on my side. Do you see actually the share screen thing below?
Yeah, I see it, but it's grayed out on my end.
Oh, okay. So hold on for a second. Let me just see.
Share screen.
I'm just, I'm wondering actually if maybe, like the pop-up already happened and it was trying to do it. So if you want, maybe do a quick refresh of your browser. And if that doesn't work, you and I, we already have that plan B in place. So we can go with that. Yeah. So if you just want to hit refresh and in the meantime, I will play this little coming soon. I'm telling you, it's worth the wait. I promise you, you're going to be excited. This is definitely it's a hot new tool, so you will definitely want to stick around for this one. All right. So I'm going to bring Virginia back in here. Okay, fingers crossed. In the meantime, I'll be ready actually on my side if we need to. All right.
All right. So yes or no? Can you see my screen?
I don't, but that's okay. I'll bring it up on my side, and I'll share my screen. So you'll just tell me what to do. You'll hopefully see my screen, and I will follow as you tell me to do. Okay. So. Let's do that.
All right.
And hold on for a second. Let me not show my password here. So I'll bring my password in.
I don't think it actually shows it. So again, Zenly is a product that you're going to be able to access from any computer. It's not a download on a computer. It is truly in the cloud. You will be able to access it even from your mobile phone, a tablet, any device you want to access it from. So when you're going on vacation, you don't have to lug that laptop with you on vacay because, as an originator, you're never really on vacation. When that phone rings, you are working and you have to answer the phone. So you don't have to, carry your laptop. You can just walk over to the business center, log in, and then you will see Zenly. So Zenly has a functionality of a point of sale that you can get a online app to your borrower. You can, if you go over on the right-hand side, Andrew, you're going to see a lead invite button.
Okay.
You can click on that lead invite button, and you can either send your borrower an email. If you look at the left, a little drop down, an email or a text with your information to do the link for your online application.
Oh,
so
nice.
Pretty quick and easy. You just send it to your customer. If you're going to do a text, you can put their name, their email address in there, and just send the link, and then they're going to get an email text, and they just click on the link. And again, it's mobile friendly, so your customer from their mobile device could do this. Okay, and again, you could do either an email or a text from there. Okay.
Is this live? If I hit send, will I get the text on this?
Yes, you're going to get the text on your phone.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay. So once the customer completes the app, it's about a 8 to 10 minute process. The great thing about this is there is no app that they have to download. There are no credentials that they have to create. They're just going to click on the link and they're going to do their application. Once they've done the application, it is going to be sitting in your software when you open Zenly up. It's going to be there. There's no downloading a 3.2 file to your computer and then bringing it in. When you open up your point, it's going to be there. You're also going to get an email notification as the originator that lets you know you have an online app. And again, if you're anywhere, you can open up your mobile phone and you can get to it right then, okay? So the cool feature about this is that you can get this link to everybody, to your realtors, to your past clients, and they can just, let's say you have a realtor doing an open house. While they're pulling lists for houses that they're going to go out and show the borrower, they can give them this link. They can quickly go online while the realtor's pulling the list and complete this quick 8 to 10 minute online application. It's intuitive, so depending on how they answer the question is what the next question is going to be. So that is your POS, your point of sale, and that is through Zip. So if you see, we've got loans, we've got Zip, and the little pictures are a little bit small, so I can't, it's kind of hard for me to see, users and then templates. So your Zip is where you're going to create that link, your portal that the customer is going to go to. So you're going to have your picture, you're going to have your logo, you're going to have a little bit about you in there, and that's where all that is created, okay? So when your customer clicks on that link, if you go all the way down, go down a little further, do you see that blue hyperlink at the bottom? If you click on that, you can click on that and you can show them what it's going to look like.
Oh, okay. So this is the link that I would share. I go onto social media, or I would share this. This is the one I want everyone to have. This is like, I have this pinned at the top of my social profiles. This is actually, you know, when as soon as that conversation comes up where someone says, "All right, fantastic. How do I get started?" This is the link we share with them. Fantastic.
Right. So that when you sent yourself a text a while ago, you're going to click on, if you would have opened it up, you're going to click on Get Started. And if you want to just go ahead and click on Get Started, we're not going to do the whole thing just so they can see what it's going to look like. So click on Get Started.
Okay. Here we go.
All right. Scroll all the way up to the top. So the customer cannot advance forward. It's grayed out. So they're going to start and they're going to put their information in here and then they'll just go to next. And then from there, it's just going to ask them questions. What are, you know, are you going to purchase? Are you going to refinance? And it's just answering simple questions. So this is where you're going to have the easy access to your customer. The customer comes into your loan origination software, which is Zenly, and then from there you start your application. So if you want to go back to Zenly.
So, Virginia, just a question just popped up from Esther Forget. She's a Calyx user. Is Zenly included in her Calyx membership?
No, Zenly is actually a separate system. So it does a loan app. You can pull a credit. You can import and export a file. You can request documents from the borrower. So it's a loan origination system. It doesn't have the full functionality of Point or Point Central, but it's more for that broker that is getting in. It's very, very cost effective. It will allow you to do the things that you need to do, then that you can upload either to your lender or upload to that processor. So truly for the broker that takes a loan out, pulls the credit, and pretty much sends it off for someone else to do the rest of the work. It does have functionality in there to request documents from your borrower. So do you, if you want to go back, so we can kind of, as I'm talking about this, if you'll go back to Zenly. So it is a separate origination system. We do have people that are using it with either Point or Point Central to give their loan officers the mobility of being able to access it from wherever. So if you go back to loans.
Fantastic. And just out of Virginia, on this right here, so let's say actually they started the process, but they go to next and they don't do anything like that. We're still capturing their data. So if
they don't close it out, yes, they can come back in and put the data in there. If not, they do have to start over again. So if they don't close the window, they'll be able to come back.
Wonderful. Cool. All right.
Okay.
So we're in
So
loans.
now we're back at loans. So if you will go to loan status and click on loan status.
Okay. Loan status.
Right there. Okay.
All right.
And then I want you to open up the one that has 105 Maverick Lane on it. Virginia Mentor 105 Maverick Lane. I want to
Sure.
open one up so the users can see the information that's in there. So this is all has tabs. So again, it looks nothing like Point or Point Central. You have your tabs, and your tabs are specific to the functions that are in there. So just real quick, the status tab. If you want to add a new status, you're going to click on the add button on the right-hand side. Okay. And then you are going to, from the drop down, click, and then you're going to be able to see the different statuses there. So you can pick whatever the next status is. It doesn't override, it's just going to show you from one status to the next the date.
Got it. Got it.
Okay.
Great.
So if you go ahead and do that and then just save it. So every time you open up your file, you're going to see the status.
But should I, but you want me to put a status on there now?
Yeah, if you want to just pick one, just so you can save it and close
Sure.
it.
There we go. Save and close.
Okay.
There we go.
So now you see your statuses there. All right. So
Yeah.
we're not going to go through all the tabs. I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights of the tabs here. So let's go ahead and go to application. So in your application tab, again, it's very specific. It's got sections, and it's very specific to the sections. So in your application tab, your borrower has nothing but borrower information in here. If you scroll down, you'll be able to see that. And I don't know if you want to scroll down just a little bit, but you know, like on your application, all your declarations, your information about the borrower, that's all on page 4. That's all going to be included here in this first section of the borrower information because it has to do with the borrower. So anytime that you have additional employment or additional telephone number, you're just going to click on that add, and it's going to pop up another window, and you'll be able to complete that information for any additional items that you need to add in here. Okay.
Yeah.
So your next tab is, or your next little section is going to be your loan section. And again, everything is specific to that section. So if you want to know anything about the loan or put information in about the loan, you're going to go to the loan section next over on the left-hand side.
Fantastic. So like over here.
Now loan information.
Got it.
Okay. So here in the loan information, you'll be able to, if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see your ratios, your loan to value, all that is in this loan section. Your say ARM, your adjustments to the rate, if it's a buy down, your information on the buy down. So all this is in your loan section. Okay. In the next section.
Okay. Subject
you
property.
Yeah, the next section is your subject property. So again, it's all very, each tab is specific. Okay. So very clean, very easy to look at. I have a lot of brokers tell me that it looks like the lender portal, what they go out and do in the lender portal. The next is your fees worksheet. So there is a standard fees worksheet in here. You can create, if you see over at the top right-hand corner, you see templates. You can go into your template section and create different templates for different worksheets if you wanted to. I just have one standard one in there. But if you wanted to create other ones, you could come back and you could create other templates in here for your different loan programs and the different lenders. You can make them very specific, or you can just do a generic one and go in and manually enter the data. Okay. So we're going to go ahead, and now I'm going to skip over to the Documents tab. Okay. So in the Documents tab, this is where you're going to be able to store documents that the customer sends you, or that you can request documents from the borrower. The documents that are in here also, there's a few documents that if you needed to disclose, you could disclose some documents from here. So if you'll go to the second section. No, to the left-hand side.
Okay.
I can't, does it say documents?
Generate?
Yeah, generate. Okay. So from the little drop down, I think it says filtered.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to see. So you have application. All
Yeah.
right. So these are the forms that are in here. And all you have to do is if you just click on it, when you click on it, it then brings it over to the right-hand side. And then from there, you can view it, you can store it, and then you can send it out to your borrower to sign. So there are not a full set of disclosures. Again, this is just your basic initial disclosures that you might have to send out. Again, a lot of the times the lender, you're doing this in the lender portal, or the lender is disclosing everything for you. But you do have the ability. So if you'll click on something just so they can see that it's going to appear over, when you click on it, it's going to appear over on the right-hand side.
Okay, cool. So let's do that. The e-sign
All
disclosure.
right. So there you can see the items.
I can kind of build
Okay.
build my.
They're going to build their list, right? And then if you wanted to specifically see something, then you can just preview it, and it'll have a watermark on there when you preview it. And then once you save it and send it, that watermark is removed. But this is where you can see it. Okay. So now I want you to go to the next little section.
Sure. Requests.
The next one down. Yeah, request docs. All right. So here is where you can request documents from your borrower. So again, you're not leaving the system to do this. You're going to do all this within the software. So if you go to the drop down and click on add on the right-hand side.
There we go.
Okay. From the drop down, you're going to be able to pick whatever it is. So if you'll go ahead and click on the very first.
Sure. Okay. It's document name. Oops. Hold on for a second. There we go. Let's go for.
This is where you're going to create your list of the things that you're going to request from the borrower. Okay. And then you're going to pick which borrower, and then you're going to pick what category.
Okay.
And then you can put a due date. I would always put a due date because I want to know when it's requested and when it's going to come back. Okay. And then in the memo, you could put whatever it is, I don't know what you picked. So if it was 30 days of pay stub, you can put 30 days of pay stubs or bank statements or whatever it is that you want to be specific. And then you would save and close once you've done that.
Okay, save and close.
Save and close. And you can do as many as you want to, but just for the sake of this being a presentation, and we're just going to do one. So now it's there, and then you're going to click on the send button. When you click on the send button, it's then going to bring up another little window. If you had multiple borrowers, it's going to let you pick which borrower it's going to go to from the little drop down.
Yeah. So that would be to send to the multiple borrowers. I was just looking to see. I got the text message in. So, but all right. So obviously it's just you. So I'm going to send it to you.
Right. So yeah. So it's going to come to me. So then you would just click send, and that's it. So you just requested documents from your borrower, and you didn't leave the system. Okay. So then the customer is going to get that email. They're going to be able to upload the document. Again, it's mobile friendly. So from any mobile device, they're going to be able to open up the email and get the email.
By the way, here's the text message that I received from you. So, if I was going to be submitting it now, and I could just click on that text, then there we go. There it is, right from the text. So very cool.
All right. So back to the requesting of the documents, and unfortunately you're not going to be able to see my email, but when that email comes to the borrower will be able to, again, access it from any device. There's going to be a little blue upload button that they'll click on. It's mobile friendly, so if they even wanted to take a picture from their mobile phone, let's say they're at work and you need a pay stub, final condition, and they have it on them, they can take a picture and upload that back to you. You will get an email notification that you have the document, and the document will be setting in your Zenly software when you open up that borrower's file once you get that document. Okay, so that is we don't want you to go out to store documents in one location and then come back and work and then have to go back to that location, get the document, download it to your computer, go to your lender browser, browse your computer, and then upload. You're doing it all from the system, okay? So that is the feature of document request and exchange. You will also be able, from the services tab, to be ordering your credit report. So if you will click on services, and you'll be able to pick whatever credit agency there are from that little drop down. It shows you all the credit companies in there, and you'll put your credentials in there. You can save your credentials in your templates as well. And from there, you can be able to not have to manually enter it each time. When you click that, it's going to be there, and you can order it, and it comes right back into the system, and then it's going to populate everything in there. So you'll be able to see your credit report here, and then also within the application in Zenly. Okay, so you have your point of sale where you're going to start. You're going to get it to your customer. It's going to come into your system. You're not working, the system is working for you. You're going to be able to get that link to your realtors, to your past clients. They can send it to anyone and get it to you. Then it's going to come into your loan origination software, which is Zenly. You're going to be able to access it from anywhere and work on it at any time. Not a download on a computer, so you can get to it quickly. And then from there, you're going to be able to request your documents from the system without having to go to another system to generate and bring in and then compile everything together. So Zenly is a great product for that borrower, again, that wants to be mobile. It is truly in the cloud. It's going to allow you to, work with your borrowers on a different level of everything being quick and easy for them. I used to use this example all the time before COVID. You have that soccer mom that has to go pick up the kids, and then she has to go to the grocery store, and then she's got to fix dinner, but she's got 2 hours at the soccer field. And if she has to wait to get home to get on a computer, guess what? It's probably not going to happen because mom is too busy. Yeah. So when you make it mobile, that mom can do it from the phone while she's waiting at soccer practice, or in the 30 minutes it's going to take her to stand in the line to be at the school, it just makes life easier for everybody, and it gets it out of the way, and they can keep going with regular life. So that is Zenly, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hate that we had a few technical difficulties, but Andrew was a star, and he made it happen. So thank you for the
listen to me.
Thank you, Vanna. Vanna did a great job today. Thank you, Vanna. I really appreciate all the assistance that you gave me today.
Hey, listen, we discussed that worst case scenario, and we figured out a way to get it. So I appreciate it.
We made it happen.
Thank you so much for joining us, Virginia. Really.
All right.
There he is. What's going on, Joe? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Give us a little quick introduction as far as actually who you are. You're looking great. You sound great. Great lighting there. You're looking good there.
Thank you. No, I'm Joe Edwards. I'm the account executive over at BeSmartee. Andrew, I wanted to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on this webinar and showcase BeSmartee's award-winning POS platform.
Wonderful. So, and I got to say, so BeSmartee's founder, we just had actually on Mortgage Leadership Outlook. I was actually amazed, when Tim expressed and told me what a POS was. This was actually, going back when we were dealing with, as an industry, we were dealing with HVCC. I mean, there was this was just completely so far ahead, and he was explaining it to me. I'm like, I don't know if that's really going to work. And look where we are today, and as successful as you guys are. So you let me know, actually, when you're ready. If you want to share your screen, I'm ready to kick it over to you.
Yeah, definitely. Let me go ahead and share this real quick.
wanted just a couple of quick things. While you're getting ready there, we are running a couple of minutes late, so I do apologize. But if you can actually, please, we do have a bunch of resources that you can access over on our website. You see the link that's scrolling down on the bottom. Use that. Make sure you get access to those resources. We've got some PDFs in there. We've got some white papers, reports, some of the documentation on the companies that are presenting today. And take it away, Joe.
Alrighty. So, thank you everyone for taking the time to be on this webinar. And, I know you're going to see a lot of demos today. You're going to have a lot of information. You're trying to process everything. So if you can remember two things from the demo that I'm about to show you, they're going to be these two numbers, 85 and 15. Now, let me explain this real quick. So 85% is BeSmartee's industry-leading conversion ratio. And what that simply means is 85% of users who start one of our applications, they will finish it and turn the whole 1003 over to the lender for review and consideration. Now, the next number, 15, this is the number of minutes that it's going to take these same users to start that application. They're going to make it all the way to their paid appraisal, and then they're going to start working on their initial needs list. And today, this is exactly what I'm going to show you. We're going to go through this application process, and we're going to get through everything. And honestly, I'd say under 15 minutes. Feel free to mark your clocks, and I think we're ready to get going.
All right.
So what we're seeing here today is our create account page, and we can make it into the system. We can start these applications in really a myriad of different ways. So we could start off websites, landing pages. I've seen lenders put us on kiosks, get us out into the public. What we're seeing today is what happens when a borrower starts on their banking website and they do a single sign-on into the BeSmartee process. So we're going to create our account and we're going to filling this application out. Now, the first thing that's going to happen once we create our account, start this application, we're going to get assigned a loan officer. They're going to have a quick intro message for us. They're going to display their NMLS and state licensing info here. This could also be a video where we're seeing a little intro video of this loan officer as well. So we're going to start. And the cool thing is let's say we need help. We get confused, we slow down. We can always reach out to the loan officer, send them a chat message, give them an email or give them a phone call. And there's always going to be a message on this page, and it's going to change with each page and make sure that it has a relevant message for each page that we go through. So we'll do a purchase loan today. Let's go ahead and fill out our zip code, our purchase price, as well as a down payment. Select our source of down payment. We're going to provide some marital status. We'll be unmarried for the webinar today. No co-borrowers. System will support married with and without, as well as unmarried with and without co-borrowers. And let's say that we do have a co-borrower today. All we have to do is fill out their info real quick. They get sent an email. They start filling out their own application. But we'll go ahead and apply by ourselves. So we need to provide some important information: birth date, social security number, primary, and as you can see, it's actually been pre-populated for us. Since we're tied into this bank's core banking system, we did a single sign-on. We're pulling in all the relevant data that we can get from this banking source. And we're going to make sure that we assist the borrower making it through this application in the 15 minutes that I quoted. Now, purchase address, we are going to have to fill something out here. If the borrower has a purchase address right out of the gate, they can throw it down. Maybe they haven't made it that far yet. They're not under contract. We can always click this link, enter a zip code, a property type, and then fill out the rest of the application with the purchase address being to be determined. Acknowledgements and authorizations, we'll agree to these. The bottom one here is allowing a credit report to be accessed. The cool thing is we have the ability to edit any text, any verbiage throughout the entire application. We can make this section say whatever the lender's legal and compliance team need it to say. And editing verbiage, it's one of BeSmartee's roughly 700 points of configuration.
Hey, just out of curiosity, you talked about being able to put video in another section there. Could even in a section like this, could we add video?
So our videos are restricted to our pop-ups that we're going to see as we go through the application. Cool. We can make them video pop-ups. We can add verbiage pop-ups, though, anywhere throughout the application that we need to.
Cool. Okay. Great.
And we're getting an error message here. It's letting us know our purchase address, it can't be validated. We have a feature, it's called continuous data validation. It's going to make sure that we have an actual purchase address entered before it allows us to move forward. And the same data validation, it's also going to look for phone numbers. It's going to look for, email addresses. That way, if someone's trying to fill out an application with, all ones for their phone number, it's going to ask the borrower to punch in a real one for us. And this next page is a great way to verify the borrower's identity. It's going to ask us some out-of-wallet questions. Borrower is going to be the only one who can answer these correctly. And I'll have a few tries to get through this. It's a great way to fulfill your KYC compliance or know your consumer. So our application is going to be created. We're going to have some data fields to validate before we get this thing submitted. Here's our second loan officer pop-up. This will be another chance to have a quick training video, let the borrower know what they should expect here. We're roughly halfway through the application portion, so we're blazing through this thing. And we can see the system decided this is going to be a primary residence. It compared both property addresses to each other, checked to see who's on title, how far apart they are, and that's where it made the selection. It's going to be primary, and we can make the change here if we need to. Now, we did have our monthly gross income pulled in from the core banking system, but let's say we didn't. Let's say the borrower gets confused here. They're not quite sure what to do. We're going to go ahead and ask our loan officer for some help. So we got stuck. We need some assistance. I'm going to split my screen here real quick. We're seeing the borrowers on this right side, the loan officers here on the left. And, I'm waiting here. I see this message pop up. Click this link. I'm going to give this borrower a hand. I'll let them know, maybe it's going to be a moment. I'm going to review the file real quick. And then eventually I can use this co-browsing tool. Now the borrower will have to allow this. Once they do so, we're going to see the same page in real time. We can exchange controls back and forth. So maybe the borrower is saying, well, I think my overtime is this. You'll see the loan officer will see the change come through. They're not going to be able to be in the same data field. That way we make sure there's no conflicts of information here. And they can even take over, start entering some data as well. And after we collaborate, maybe we got this figured out, pages where it needs to be, the borrower can start moving forward by themselves again. We don't have to co-browse on every page. It could be a one-off question they have. And then we can go ahead, stop the loan officer from co-browsing. And now we're going to be able to fill out the application solo again. So the cool thing about BeSmartee, we're empowering the loan officers to manage more files independently. So the borrowers are doing a lot of the legwork. They're going to get caught up. We're going to jump in, help them where they got stuck, and then we can move on to helping the next borrower. So we'll continue on again. If we have this selected, we can automatically verify the income with the employer. We use Equifax, the work number for this feature. Current expenses, went ahead and pre-populated our rent here for us from the core banking system. That looks good. Proposed expenses look good. And we're ready to move forward to the next stage. But the system found another mistake. We're trying to buy a condo. That's going to have HOA dues, and it wants us to go back and fix that. So that's continuous data validation coming into play again. Once we have it taken care of, we can move on. We'll verify our employment history. If we can, we'll have this pulled in. If let's say the lender didn't have this info, we just key it in from hand. Go ahead and save, which is going to bring us to our assets and liabilities section. Now assets, we're going to have to fill this out. We'll go ahead and select the asset type. We're going to put in the name of the bank. The cool thing with this, we do have a way to have this populated for the borrower. We can import bank statements as well as verification of assets. We can have that feature turned on to be completed earlier in the application. And then the assets are going to be waiting for us here. We can even link in REOs. So we've got our down payment here. We're ready to go on the assets, liabilities. We see some information. This was pre-populated from the credit report that we pulled in a few pages back when the borrower gave us the authorization. If all this looks good, we can move forward. However, maybe the borrower paid this down yesterday, hasn't updated with the bureaus, and make a change, and the system will timestamp that. It'll create an audit trail, lets the users at the back-end portal know, when the borrower made this change, what the original balance was, and then what we changed it to. Once that looks good, we'll verify some declarations. We can see these declarations have been pre-populated. This is another one of those 700 points of configuration. We can have this turned on or off depending on the lender's needs. And the tooltips that I mentioned earlier, the little verbiage pop-ups, that we can add anywhere throughout the application. I've got a few examples of these here. What we're trying to do is front load some answers to commonly asked questions the borrowers might have, and make sure that, hopefully maybe this will stave off the borrower having to ask the loan officer for some help. If everything looks good here, we'll go through our demographic information, make sure this looks good. And then we're going to land on a final verification page. So as we review our loan summary, maybe we need to go back and make a change. We noticed we put in the wrong address here. We can click on one of these pencil icons. We can even just hit backspace. The interesting thing about BeSmartee, we're always saving. So as soon as the user goes from one page to the next, we auto save. That way, let's say, the borrower's filling out this application, they're on their phone runs out of battery. No worries. When they log back in, they're going to land on the same page they left off on, and they're going to continue filling out the same application. We can see our middle FICO here, our loan to value ratio. And if all this looks good, we're going to go ahead and submit this application. This is the button that's going to represent that 85% conversion ratio I mentioned. And it's the whole 1003 data application. We just filled that whole puppy out. And we actually have a few extra things that we've added to this application process. So the product and pricing engine's running in the background right now. AUS results are auto running in the background. We're going to present this borrower with a list of conditionally approved loans. We're going to go ahead and review those before making a selection. And we get our third and final pop-up from the loan officer. They're letting us know what to do on this page. We'll hit proceed. And we can start reviewing these products. We have arranged these in the best 4 loan options of each product type. We can arrange these products really any way the lender needs us to. And if we click on show details, we're going to see some highly accurate rates, payments, fees, closing costs, lender charges, you name it. And these are going to be so accurate that we're actually going to take these, pop them into the loan estimate, and then have the borrower review and sign those as part of their initial disclosure packet they're about to review and sign. The way we get these so accurate is one of a few ways. We have the ability to pull from data fields where we can do a list of lenders, common closing costs and charges. We also have some integrated partners where we can pull the information in directly from a fee aggregator, and we can even go direct to some of these vendors. Once we've reviewed this, we find a product we like, we're going to go ahead and choose it before moving forward to the more or less the final stage of this application process, the review of the initial disclosures, the e-signature of these initial disclosures, as well as our appraisal payment. So we'll kick this process off. These disclosures are now populating, making sure everything is correct. And, this is a live demo today. So these are all very normal load times that a borrower would be experiencing filling out this application. We could download this as a PDF. Maybe we have something to do. We want to review this later and then log back in and sign. Or we could review everything here. Let's say it all looks good and we're ready to sign. And we do work with a lot of integrated vendors. We have about 170 vendor integrations. On today's demo, we used Optimal Blue for the product and pricing engine. We used IDS for these initial disclosures, and we're actually using DocuSign to sign these. So we'll agree to the e-consent here, set our signature, and then it's a pretty quick process to fill this whole thing out. And we notice on the page before here, when we're reviewing, the borrower's reviewing these initial disclosures, very common for the loan officer to use that co-browse tool, go through the disclosures with the borrower and make sure they understand everything before we put down our signatures here. It's going to seal this up, send it to the appropriate place. In most cases, it's going to be a loan origination system that we're integrated with. We have about 7 LOSs we're integrated with today. Now, what we can do on this page, this is where it gets interesting. We can start tying in other resources. Let's say this borrower has a real estate agent they're working with. They want them to be brought into the loop. We can plug in their info. An email is going to fire off to this real estate agent, and they're going to have a login where they can see the borrower's status, upload a purchase agreement, maybe even download the conditional approval letter that was generated when we chose our conditionally approved loan. And one of the last steps here, we're going to put down our credit card info, make this appraisal payment. Now we got some skin in the game as the borrower. We're a little more committed than we were a few moments ago. And we've landed on our loan dashboard. This is where we can have more or less a home page. This is our final page. We're going to hang out here for the rest of our experience and life cycle. You can see our loan status, our loan summary, closing plans, any important loan docs we need to be aware of are here, such as our conditional approval letter that got generated. So we could download this as a PDF, take it where it needs to go. And finally, we're going to work on these to-dos. This is an initial needs list. And it's interesting when the borrower has the opportunity to start filling out these needs. Right now we're all gung-ho. We just filled out an application in less than 15 minutes. We're excited. We see the stuff we got to work on, and we're just going to jump right into it. The way that this can be generated, one of two different ways. It could be static, same for every borrower that goes through an application. It also can be dynamic. BeSmartee has our own conditions generator, which will auto-create some of these conditions based off the borrower's profile and scenario. And finally, we also have the ability to import conditions directly from any of our integrated LOS partners. So that's really it. We went through a lot of information.
I did. That's a lot. That's amazing.
Probably for all of you like trying to drink water from a fire hose. So I do apologize. I'll bring you back to the 85 and 15, which is our conversion ratio and number of minutes it takes to get to this page and complete everything you just saw. So I'll go ahead and pause here. We can turn it around for some questions, I think, is what we have left on the clock.
Wow, that's fantastic. So, and this is not app based. This is not this is mobile browser based, right?
Correct. Fully mobile responsive. We're on kiosks, we're on tablets, laptops, desktops, you name it. Anything that accesses our links, it's just going to resize to this whatever size the screen needs, and that's for the borrower and the loan officer as well. So while it is possible for the loan officers to be on their phones doing everything behind the scenes, and they can even do things like fill out the application. So maybe the borrower's busy, they gave us some info from the lead source. Loan officer could start the application, get halfway through, send the rest over to the borrower to finish. So there's a lot of connectivity that's going to go on between the loan officer and the borrower to get this thing filled out.
Wow, it's fantastic. And so what would you say actually is the main reason why your clients are picking BeSmartee over? I mean, there's so many other point of sale providers. I mean, to me, actually, the integrations, the customizations, but that's my perspective. You're out there working with, a lot of mortgage companies. What is the reason that they're picking BeSmartee over anyone else?
That's a great question. And I think I'm going to tie that back to the numbers I shared at the beginning. Because we have such a high conversion ratio, it's very easy for borrowers to fill out this application. We're able to get through everything quickly and efficiently. So that way more of the applications are converting. We're getting through a lot of information very quickly. We're sending all of those data and docs to the LOS. Processor can get working on this right away. And through all of that, we're actually going to reduce the closing time by about 15 days from the industry average.
Fantastic. That's great. So listen, I know when people were signing up, there are a lot of people that were asking specifically for information about you guys. So we will make sure we connect you guys. We've got one question before we close out here. So Linda wants to know, has the borrower get this? Does the LO pay for this annual fee? And does it integrate with Calyx? So if you could,
that is a great question. So the way that the borrower gets this is almost unlimited how we can get a borrower into this. It could be posted on websites, apply now buttons on a website. I've seen loan officers put a link in their email signature. So every email they send out is an opportunity for a borrower to start an application. We have quick pricers that can send out potential loan options to the borrowers to review, then start the application. I've seen landing pages set up with social media campaigns where the borrower is on Facebook, they see some some options. They click on an ad campaign, they get pulled into a landing page, which then directs them to BeSmartee. So a lot of ways to get a borrower here. Now, in terms of the payments, this would be something that's set up with the lender. We're a bit of an enterprise solution. We don't have as much products for the individual loan officer. We tend to encompass more of the lender as a whole, and then provide an end-to-end solution, or not quite an end-to-end solution, an integrated solution that with the LOS and other integrated partners will provide end-to-end coverage. And it is generally set up through the lender. And today we are not integrated with Calyx, unfortunately.
All right, fantastic. But got 7 other LOSs out there that you guys are working with already. So wonderful. So, all right, Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. We really, really appreciate it. Great system. You guys are so ahead of actually the curve. Back actually when you guys launched, it's awesome to have you just having such a robust solution today. I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us today.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Andrew.
All right, take care. All right, folks. All right, so we've got 2 more sessions for you, and we're really, really excited to bring you actually the next one. Because one of the things actually I love about LendingPad, besides actually the great user experience that people have, but from just using it, but I also love the fact actually that these guys do an unbelievable job of connecting with so many different systems. I mean, I think it's actually one of the systems out there that's probably one of the most connected systems that's out there. And so with us today, this is a special treat. So we have Wes, who is actually at LendingPad, but we also have Chris Bronson, who is actually just a diehard LendingPad user. He's a mortgage guy. He's based in where are you based in? You're in Pennsylvania, right?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, Raleigh, North Carolina. So he's with Advantage Lending. So he's the operations manager, and he's joining us today. He's going to share us, his perspective, how he uses a LendingPad. So we're really, really excited. Thank you so much for joining us. And Wes, are you with us?
Yes, I am. I am. Drew.
Okay, Wes, we don't see your face though. I don't know if you're being camera shy for us today.
Next time.
Okay. All right. So I'm going
Chris, nice to see you.
Chris, take it away. It's your so Chris is going to basically just show us a little bit about what he goes through as someone who manages people. How many originators that do you have that work for Advantage Lending right now?
We have 13 right now. So I mean, we're a small shop, but we're doing quite a lot of business. And honestly, I don't think that we would have been able to get through these last few months had we not made this switch. We were previously on Calyx, Point Central, and the main issue that we had is just the lack of integrations. And I mean, LendingPad has been a great opportunity for that because they integrate with everything. And I mean, one of the things that we had. One of our biggest pain points for like the longest time was just generating closing packages and having those done accurately and without having to go back and forth to multiple systems to get things to work properly. And I mean, I have to say, LendingPad, they match to the penny. It's rather refreshing. It's rather refreshing. Let's see. So. I guess one of the things that really led us to them was the integrations, but I guess we vetted quite a few companies when we were making the switch. And one of the things that I felt was the most beneficial is they seemed to really care about what we were trying to do. And they spent the time with me quite a few months going through the system and making changes and, adding features or showing me some of the features that I was requesting that they were actually already working on. And it was a nice change of pace from the previous companies we've dealt with in the past. Let's see, I'll show you some of the system. I don't have any nice little, I don't have a major presentation to go through here, but
listen, yeah. See, I think our audience appreciates more than actually a nice presentation is actually an actual originator, an actual sales manager showing exactly what he's doing here. So I'm going to add your screen to the mix.
Yes, this is a dummy file that I've created, just kind of to give you like an overview of how it looks. It's just a nice, clean interface. Our loan officers are really appreciative of how nice and simple it is to look at. You guys have all seen LOSs, so I mean it's nothing crazy. But I'll get over to the integrations here. So one of the things that is, I know this is not novel, but it was a huge deal for us, is the integration with mortgage insurance. We had a lot of problems in the past getting accurate pulls, and this integrates with every company that we deal with, and it does so flawlessly. Pulls everything in. I mean, you can see here, you see all these. We're not even fully using everything yet. And we're already just enamored with how well everything is working. Sorry, I think, I guess, okay, this is another thing that we really like is you're able to create your own documents, your own print forms. And it's not just creating a PDF or creating a Word document. You can actually edit it with HTML, which means you can actually pull data in from the file and create all kinds of custom everything. It's very, very robust. Kind of the sky's the limit on that. We're currently integrated with Optimal Blue. I know Wes might want to talk on that, but they're working on a full-blown integration with Optimal Blue that'll handle all the pricing, reprices, and locking and everything, so we'll never have to leave the system. I'm trying to think.
Right now, I think you can only get pricing.
Yeah.
Hopefully very soon people can lock all within the system, so which creates a nice streamlined approach, and also pipeline monitoring, price monitoring alerts and so on.
Yeah. So one of the features that our loan officers really enjoy is they also have a point of sale, and it's really nice. So you can here I created another file here. So you could, a lot of the loan officers, just the way they're using it at least, you create a new lead. Basically, you create your generic. Here, I'll just type in. Just create a new file, and so you just need the basic information, basic contact information, nothing special. It'll create a new file, and then when it pops up, they'll have this little button here to invite the consumer. So a lot of them will do this. It'll send a link to the borrower. They click it. They start filling out the application, and you can see as they save and progress the stuff updating on the file. So you can be on the phone with the borrower, talking them through it. It's not quite the same, screen share as the previous one, but it's great. I know a lot of our loan officers are really appreciative of it. It's being used quite a lot in that manner. The other thing, and this was more of an operations thing, that it was huge for me. AUS, we had a lot of trouble with our previous LOS getting both Fannie and Freddie to read the file properly, and I don't know if I'm sure people have dealt with that. It's such a pain to do. Some of the LOs don't really care that much about it, but until it causes a problem. But for operations, it was a huge deal. It was a major pain point, and so far this has been great. In all honesty, I'm seeing on a regular basis the inactivity timeouts for like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac because nobody's logging in anymore to have to manually intervene. So it's very nice. It's very nice to see.
Chris, to that end, we're going to release the dual AUS sometimes at the end of the year. So instead of 2 clicks, you can run both with 1 click. So hopefully that's a time saver as well.
Yeah, no, everything is nice and clean. Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't a live file, but I just can't speak highly enough of how much this has improved our efficiencies. I mean that was our main pain points behind switching were integrations, but a lot of it was because of the inefficiencies that was causing. The fact that we don't have to go into multiple systems anymore, that's all in one place, is huge.
There's a lot of fans here for LendingPad. We funded over 340 loans with LendingPad between 2 divisions on LendingPad. From Christine Wang.
We had some top producers. The highest one we've seen is one person, I think, going over, I want to say how many millions of production, like 90 million by themselves, one highest month. So, so that's just testament of helping our shops grow and compete. That's our #1 focus, and operate efficiently.
Yeah, well, one of the things, like, so, I mean, I'm sure it's no surprise to anybody. We're up over 100% in volume from this time last year, and so I used to be a closer at Advantage Lending when I was in college. That was kind of how I put myself through school, and they would regularly tap me to take over when they needed extra hands, and I haven't been tapped. Like, no, they haven't needed me to step in to do anything since we made this switch, and I'm completely attributing that to the efficiencies that we've added. I'll say, is there any questions or anything you'd like me to kind of touch on, or?
So for me, actually, I would love to know specifically some of the integration partners that you use, because all we have coming in, actually, there's no questions, just people saying how awesome LendingPad is. Michelle, an amazing LOS, can't live without it. I don't. Yeah, like it's so funny. I've basically heard, actually, the demos. Once you go through actually the LendingPad demo, like a full demo. I know we're kind of just going through enough to just show the originator experience of a guy like yourself.
Yeah.
But if you could talk a little bit about some of the integrations that you are specifically using and loving, that you now actually have this system.
Oh, sure. So, well, the newest one that we just signed up with is a company called Unify. It's a CRM, and does our credit report monitoring and stuff like that for inquiries and stuff. We were using Be in Touch prior to that. Both so far have worked flawlessly. I'm trying to think what else are we using. We're using. This may not be considered an integration, but I mean, to us it is. Just like the VOEs type stuff, the flood reports, like literally you don't have to leave the system. So we're using CIC for all of those things. I'm trying to think. Let's go down here. MERS, it's great. It's one button to send that through. UCD, all these things. I'm not sure how much of this is commonplace on other systems, but it was a massive improvement for us because we did not have any of this stuff with our previous LOS. I know so we were using a company called Ames dashboard for our appraisal AMC. Essentially, it's a kind of it's a pseudo AMC where we can run our own appraisal desk. Chris Williams is the owner of that company, and I know he's looking to do an integration as well with LendingPad. So once that's done, that will be nice as well. But the fact that LendingPad is willing to do those types of things is great.
That's great. Michael Kelleher said, "What do you use for communications? Do you set up automatic emails through LendingPad or a third-party system? And do you do text with updates?"
So right now, we this went live last week. We turned on Unify for all that stuff. We were using Be in Touch prior to that. We only moved to Unify for the credit report monitoring or the inquiry monitoring. No issues with Be in Touch, but so far we're really liking Unify. They do have the ability to do text updates. We have not turned that on yet, but that is in planned. Yeah, it's planned. Hopefully, I want to say by the end of the year. We have to do some validation before we do that. But yes, that is a plan of ours.
Fantastic. And Wes, can you talk a little bit about what systems LendingPad works with perfectly in terms of for communications, setting up automatic emails and doing text updates?
Sure. Yeah. So LendingPad is primarily a LOS, so we focus on communications in the lender's team itself, of staff members, to connect with a CRM, and we can connect. So today we have Shape, Unify, as Chris mentioned, Be in Touch, and a number of CRMs that are in the integration queue. I think about 7 of them. On top of that, as Chris has shown you, we are on Zapier Gateway, which talks to just about a whole universe of CRMs out there. So, and this you don't need programming. You can use these keys to naturally connect with your CRM for communications, for realtors. It's bi-directional, that they will get status updates and so on. And text is often a feature in the CRM vendor. So I think a recent one coming up is Ricochet, that they're getting popular as well. So there are a number of them. The choice is really yours, and we are in it for, of course, we want to integrate with everyone so that you can pick your favorite tool that fits your business the most.
Fantastic. That's great. And what does the mobile experience look like for LendingPad?
So mobile's their point of sale system is completely mobile friendly. You open it up on any phone without issue. They have an app for the LO, but it's kind of more of a contact manager at the moment. I know they're working on doing more with that, but so far we haven't had any complaints from her.
So LendingPad is in the iPhone and Android stores, but the native apps are designed for loan officers only. And the first version, which is in beta now in the iPhone stores or Android stores, is only for leads management. But I think at the end of August, we have a second release where loan officers can look up, pipeline leads, look up documents right from their own iPhones. So in case they don't have a laptop with them, they can do all that they need to do inside of a full function LOS. So that mobile experience, again, is specifically for loan officers. And then the point of sale consumer-facing gateway is already mobile optimized. So if the borrowers has a version of this, that's in the browser, that's already optimized for the borrowers.
Yeah. And Wes, why have you adopted the philosophy of just being as open as you possibly can with all these other companies? I mean, I would have to say, and I could be mistaken here, but you seem to be the most open loan originator system out there. It seems like every vendor out there, has a LendingPad integration, or every solution has a LendingPad integration, or they're working on it to be the next thing. What is the reason, behind the philosophy of having such an open architecture?
Yeah, I think this is one of our philosophies for forming company is really to have the data. First of all, the data is the client's property, and have the data be able to freely flow from the systems and tools that they choose, so that it will help them maximize efficiency. That's really the core driver behind it. We don't want people to feel that they're restricted or they have to hop into 7 different systems, and that's where manufacturing process breakdown is exactly when you hop from system to system and so on. So we try to bring this universe as much as possible together and in a secure and also scalable fashion. So that's why we made this integration effort really a platform for us to talk to other people. So for the mutual customers that's using multiple systems, that they see the benefit. As Chris mentioned earlier, for a shop with 13 people, they're doing this amount of volume. It's really a testament to the efficiency and also the integration efforts that we put out. And again, we're one of the more modern LOS systems in the marketplace today.
Mm-hmm. So, Chris, I think this question is for you. Dean wants to know, how much are you spending on these applications per month?
So the LendingPad is transactions based, number of closed loans, and Unify is rather expensive. I mean, that's $4 or $5 grand now, but this depends on. But we're also passing some of that off on our LOs. We have various other little things that we do, but those are done by LO. But all in all, I think it's worth every penny. So
yeah,
it's been doing great.
It's great. Listen, to be able to create this bespoke, mortgage experience, it's a wonderful thing. So, Christine Wang, Chris is right on. It is a very streamlined, inclusive system. One thing I'd like to mention is speed. It is extremely fast. You don't get that with traditional LOS.
It's true. That's very true. I guess the one other thing that I completely forgot about, which probably does need to be mentioned, is all of these files can be opened by multiple parties at once, and so you'll see other people updating stuff as you're working on it, and it's great for us because we didn't have a processor in there, underwriter working on it, and the closer doing something at the same time, which I can't speak high enough of it. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, you can also control this down too as your team grows. You can also lock it out. You don't want people to simultaneously update, or after a certain status, you can lock people out. So yeah, we designed a lot of controls in place. Also, at the same time, we see that 3 staff members finishing a loan one day in 30-minute time and get to a CTC quickly. So that's what we see as an LOS standard.
Yep.
Fantastic. Wonderful. So, Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us. We really appreciate it. It's an honor to get inside of a system. And I was saying this before. It's listen. If you went back 10 years ago, people wouldn't share this. I mean, this is like proprietary information. Is one of the things that makes your company successful. And it's very generous of you to come out here and take the time to share this with us. We really appreciate it, Chris.
No, I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm glad to speak highly. I mean, I'm very happy with what we've got right now, and I'm more than happy to help out.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And Wes, thank you for creating an awesome LOS. We really appreciate it. All right, fantastic, guys. All right, so last and certainly not least, I'm excited to bring you our wrap up where we have one more our top originator tech share. I'm going to pull this up in just a minute. We're really excited about this. So here we had a mortgage broker, we had a lender, and wrapping up is going to be Kevin Peranio, the Chief Lending Officer over at PRMG. What's up, KP?
Hey, how you doing, brother? What's going on, man?
A lot, man, a lot. And so listen, it's great to have you here. PRMG is just one of these great companies that, they they do so well in not just one channel, but multiple channels. It's amazing actually how they get so much respect and love from those actually who are participating in the retail channel. They've got some unbelievable top producers and wholesale, and the brokers that do business with you guys just love you. But today we're talking about actually the originator experience, and the tech stack that you guys share with them. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I don't know if you have anything you want to share on your screen, or if you just want to kind of talk it over and tell us a little bit.
We could talk, dude. You're a marathon man. You've been doing this all day. How you feeling? You holding up good?
I feel great, man. I feel great. It's only a couple of little technical hiccups, but everything has been smooth as cake. It's definitely it's been working good. We've seen literally hundreds of people come and go. I had some unbelievable technology presentations.
Awesome.
We've really
your first three we used over here. You had FinLocker, Capacity, and Sales Boomerang, and I'm huge fans of all three. Those were your first three that you had on the lineup today, and I'm all in on those three. I mean, I have a thing tomorrow with Alex Kutsishin. He and I are doing we're doing a webinar for the Mortgage Collaborative tomorrow, and we're talking about that. And I've been on with FinLocker, and of course I talk about Capacity quite a bit. I mean, it's just you nailed it in my opinion. And I thought what was interesting is we're, for those that don't know who our company is, we're privately owned, and before the pandemic hit and we're all fighting some a-hole who ate bat soup in Wuhan, we were worried about fintech disruption, and we were worried about the giant consumer direct lenders out there coming in and stealing our business from our communities. And we know they're going to continue to do that. And some of the tools that you presented today and some of the tactics, I know I saw you had on Shashank. I got a chance to watch him for a few minutes. I love watching him speak. You got a few tactics from him, and you got some ideas of how us who work at independents and smaller companies, or even individual shops or one-person shops. Notice I didn't say one-man shops, one-person shops over at broker shops. How do you arm yourselves to fight this disruption that's coming at us? How do you fight against billions of dollars, literally billions of dollars being made by companies in a quarter? How do you fight against those companies? How do you fight and make sure that you get your clients taken care of? And so a lot of these tools, people don't realize this is fintech that's being built for us. They're not being built for the banks or for the hedge funds or for the big, consumer direct fintech disruptive companies. They're helping us win local. And that, I think most of us would agree that, being a local originator or local real estate agent, that is the best opportunity and the best experience for a consumer. So I'm glad you're showcasing everybody's tech today to help with that and help us win local.
No, let me ask you this. If you look back actually at the technologies that you've implemented over like the last 2 years, which was the biggest game changer? Which was like the outstander of all of them, the outlier of all of them that just really just changed the because like the companies you mentioned are unbelievable companies. And they're all actually in themselves paradigm changers. But tell us actually, which is like the one technology that when you guys put that in, you're like, wow, this is just going to change everything.
So if I were, this is very wonky and nerdy, and it's not going to be exciting, but it was absolutely a game changer. So our partner here, Gary Malice, there's the two founders, there's Paul and Robert, okay, Paul Rozo and Robert Holiday, and they're the originators. We're built by originators for originators. That's our slogan. We trademarked it. It's because that's who we serve first. We serve the originator first, not fintech, not the portfolio, not ROI, not the hedge fund, not the 17th stream of revenue at a bank. Maybe it's the 117th stream of revenue. We serve the originator, period.
Yeah.
Those guys brought in myself and Gary as their partners. And one thing that Gary Malice did, he's our chief capital markets and strategy officer. He brought in a team to help us take control of our data. And I know like this saying, data is the new oil, that's like 5 years ago. But the reality is, if you don't control your data or at least understand it, just basic reporting, it's really hard to grow and scale as a company. And so here's my thought on data. So Gary brought in a team that literally was part of a group that invented the internet, literally invented the internet. And I joked with them when I first met them.
You hired Al Gore?
I know. I said, I thought Al Gore. And the guys were like, well, what's funny is Al Gore ran a venture capital firm which funded their project, which helped create the internet. So, like a good politician, he took all the credit, but these guys were literally part of that. And so what they did is they created a data warehouse for us, which is a separate data warehouse away from our Encompass data base, and then our payroll, HR, IT, finance data. We scrub all of it together in one data warehouse. Now, with that data warehouse, we can create API access for any of the vendors that we integrate with. So if we want to choose to work with this one or this one or this one, we work together with our data. We get to share just whatever data we want to share with them, which obviously is super important in this day and age with PII, personally identifiable information. You can't just go around just giving anybody data that is considered PII. You'll never get licensed in a state like New York. Certainly won't be able to do business with the GSEs, Fannie, Freddie, or Ginnie. So, for us, taking control of our data was a big thing. And then we use Power BI for our reporting. I know some people like Motivity is great. We've used that before as well. Some people are on Tableau, which is owned now by Salesforce, which is another fantastic software company. We chose Power BI. Kind of works well with the rest of our Microsoft suite of products. So I'll give you an example. We used to have what's called leakage. So just some mistake, maybe the loan was sold to the wrong investor or had the wrong guideline, or we didn't get it out fast enough, or we missed the lock. So when we were doing about $5 billion a year, we had about 12 basis points in leakage. And in our first year, 3 years ago, when we got control of that data, we really reduced that down to like 4 basis points, right? Wow. And now we're under 2. Last year we did, 8.3 billion. I mean, you do the math. I mean, that's like hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're saved. But then you also have access and control of your data to be able to integrate all these other tech pieces of your tech stack and then pivot off of that. So taking control of our data, at least being able to look at reporting. I mean, I have a report. I can drill down to the processor. I can do a pie graph on each loan or their entire pipeline. I can see how much time they take, to like win first touch, or how long first touch. Is it the borrower's fault? How long is it taking to get to underwriting? How many conditions per file? How many touches per file? How long from open to submission to fund, open to fund? I mean, there's so much data that we have, and we can drill down, and for those of you that are lenders out there, how expensive underwriters are. They're so expensive. They're demanding so much money right now because things are crazy. Well, you know what? You can look at with this data. I can say, hey, here's my top 10 underwriters and how productive they are. If I rank them just by production and I have overtime hours to dish out, the old thought was like, well, I'll just give my most productive underwriters the overtime hours I have to dish out. But if you look at the cost per file or the cost per hour or the cost breakdown plus overtime, you can say, well, underwriter number 4, 7, and 9 is who I should be giving this to. Yeah. So there's just so much you can do with data. So that was a real big game changer for us. And I could totally nerd out on that, but I don't think that's really your audience.
No, well, I mean, it is me. I love that. So now let me give me an idea of what data. Is it just the data related to the loan, or that goes into this data warehouse, or are you also like tracking marketing activity? Are you so if they opened up an email or went to a website and went to these pages, like what data are you putting into that data warehouse?
So that data warehouse is mostly loan level, payroll, HR, finance. Yeah. All that stuff. Now, as it relates to marketing and MarTech and market technology, we've been on Surefire top of mind for many years, and we're really happy with it. It's a great CRM. There's a lot of things you can do with it. We started to go down this path where we wanted to build out our own customized everything. That's just who we are, right? Not every lender is like that, but we realize, and I'm a huge fan of Salesforce. I think it's the best software around. When you go into recession, salespeople don't like, they're not likely to get cut because they're the ones driving revenue. And then, although of course our business is recession proof, but when you go in a down cycle, and then people like to cut operating expenditures. But what Salesforce does is it tackles both, right? It helps you be more efficient using technology, which helps with OpEx, but then also enhances the experience for the people generating revenue, which is your sales team. Yeah. So building a customized CRM in Salesforce, I think, is like the gold standard. It just takes a lot of work. They don't have an out-of-the-box solution. Well, let me say this. They're working on certain pieces of out-of-the-box. They presented it last year at the Mortgage Technology Conference, and I really like what they've done. So for us, we keep an eye on them and how they're moving, and we use Salesforce on a lot of different things. But we brought in Pardot, which is a system that they own. It's kind of like Campaigner on steroids. So we're able to trace and track and watch and see open rates and conversions and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But it isn't tied into our Surefire system. And that doesn't mean that it can't. We just never did it. And so then we started noticing people on the recruiting trail, they become creatures of habit, right? So when you talk about enterprise software, you've got enterprise software, which is like Salesforce, which takes a lot to do. It's hard for a small company to develop that out, which is like I like on the broker side. One of the things that I liked about AIM is that they took the Arrive platform and they wanted to develop Salesforce and then give it to the brokers, because brokers can't do that on their own.
Yeah.
And so I love that platform, and that works good for that channel. And I've heard they're doing great things over there. Recently they've had a total upend of the point of sale. But for us, for our retail channel, we're building out our own enterprise software as well. When it comes to tracing and tracking on marketing, what we realized is that some of the larger enterprise software out there that have a lot of traction and already have a fan following, we had like, how do we bridge that gap? On the recruiting trail, you say, well, come over here. I know we don't have what you're used to. We have this. And they're like, yeah, but you don't have this, or yeah, but you don't have that. So we finally got to the point where, we're big enough to have optionality. And you hear that buzzword a lot out there, and that's something that we've done. So we're in the middle of rolling out Total Expert, in addition to Surefire Top of Mind. So with 1,100 loan officers, we have 2 options of enterprise software. And if the originator chooses to be part of us, they now have 2 options. We're not completely rolled out in Total Expert, but we're rolling it out. And so that integration, those pieces, the tracking that's in both those CRMs, that's in Salesforce, if we ever wanted to continue to develop that out and maybe offer that as an option later. Of course, what we see over there on the wholesale side with Arrive and how they've built that out. We're also putting something in our TPO Connect portal. So that's a breaking news exclusive right there. We're putting some functionality in later this year for marketing to hand to our broker partners that use us. And so those are options. Those are options all over the place that we're working on to say, would you like this? You like that? We have that. And it doesn't stop there. We do the same thing with our point of sale. I see a lot of lenders out there. They just offer like a couple things, or maybe just one. Say, this is what we do. This is our tech stack.
Yeah.
The reality is, you need to be, when you're Switzerland, you need to have, you need to be open arms to, all your different options. So, we offer Simple Nexus. We offer Blend. We offer Pre-App 1003. I know that's out there. There's a couple other. Obviously, inside Encompass, we have LO Connect, Consumer Connect, and then we still see a lot of our originators on the retail side. They're just typing that app right into Encompass, which we've customized into Fast Track 360. That's still the majority of how it's done. So it's not just marketing and tracking and tracing. It's also point of sale. It's connecting them together, and then of course, you able to track leads and integrate something like Sales Boomerang or MBS Highway. We have 100% adoption of MBS Highway. It's the most widely used vendor we have here. Barry and team, they've been with us for many years now, across all these different iterations, and everyone here uses it in some form or fashion. We've got some users on Mortgage Coach as well. We have some users. We just rolled out FinLocker.
Just out of curiosity, and any idea what the adoption rate on Sales Boomerang is? Because I just know like they're normally through the roof when compared to other vendors.
Yeah, well, we felt the best way to control that is to have a central desk and then create the automated triggers. So we've been on Sales Boomerang. I think we're almost up to our 3rd year, starting our 3rd year with Alex and team. I think this fall will be starting our 3rd year. We have white labeled firm offers of credit that go out on any of the credit triggers. We only pull the credit triggers for the loans in our portfolio, which is quadrupled here this year. We're servicing a lot more than normal, which is great for whoever the originator is that sends it our way. We have more control of that transaction. We're able to monitor where the credit pulls are being done or there's a new debt taken out. Obviously, if we sell off the loan, we don't monitor those things because our partners would have a problem with that. But we still are able to monitor things like life events or did they list their home for sale or an equity alert, something like that. So these firm offer of credit letters that go out, which are required when you when you monitor those kinds of triggers, they're white label. So for our wholesale channel, they go out in the name of the broker. And for our retail channel, they go out in the name of our originator. But we have a centralized desk for Sales Boomerang that get all the contacts. There's automated triggers, and we're trying to have more automation with that between our CRM and Sales Boomerang. And but again, we have a central desk that really monitors it and makes sure, just from a old school service standard, like, hey, so and so got their credit pulled, or hey, this person listed their home for sale, make sure you call. So we're still adding that personal touch to the automation.
Fantastic. So listen, I got one last question for you, because I got to know, like, how do you make the decision to bring in Total Expert? Like, I mean, where does will you listen to originators? If someone comes to you and says, KP, I love this tool, I was using this tool in my old company, can we bring it here? Like, are you listening to your originators, as to the technology that they want to bring to the organization?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, we're built by originators for originators. We listen to them everywhere. I mean, I'm on groups, I'm in chat groups. I listen to people when they talk. I was on the road 50% of the year before, before we got shut down with this pandemic, going to conferences, beating the streets, bringing back things, doing demos. And if the demo passes the first test, we show it to everyone else. Total Expert has a lot of momentum. They've really built something good. I believe 12 of the top 15 lenders are on it right now, which is a good thing. Let me talk about 3 more techs before we wrap, because I know you've been going all day. So a couple years ago, I was at, I guess in September, it'll be almost 2 years, when I first ran into capacity. And I got a chance to meet David Carendish. And now, back then it was called Jane AI, and they went through a round of financing, and they rebranded and called it Capacity.
Yes.
Now, so think about this. He and his team, they built answers.com, and it's insane. I mean, like their AI chops are unbelievable. And so after his non-compete was up, after flipping their whole program, they're back in, and they're starting in our industry. They're creating fintech for our industry, which is insane to have a tech team like that out of St. Louis, the home of the best ribs ever. These guys are like, look, we're building this AI thing, and what's awesome is they're automating help desk. It's not just a chat bot; it automates the help desk. And so, again, if I'm a loan officer, I'm laying in bed, it's like midnight, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't go to sleep. I've got 3 quick questions. And you can even have voice activated if you want on your phone, when you talk into it, or web interface, however. You're like, hey, what's the status of the Smith file? Smith file's clear to close. Are we open July 4th? PRMG's closed Friday, July 3rd. What's the bankruptcy waiting period on conventional loans? 7 years. That quick, that fast, 3 answers, good night, go to sleep, you're out. So, I mean, that's amazing. And then you've got something like FinLocker, right, which is a financial locker which combines all these different elements, right? It takes Mint, which is like your budgeting. It takes Credit Karma, watching your budget. They have the ability to do perpetual DU, so you're constantly running DU and seeing if your borrower qualifies. And you're able to give this locker with this interface for your borrower to keep track of all this stuff in one place. And then they own their data, they own their experience, they own their everything. And so we're starting off sending out to all our borrowers in our portfolio. And we've been rolling out a couple different phases with them. We call it the PRMG Data Vault. Love that experience. Built just for us. We've also got Matic Insurance, which is out there. We've been with Matic for a couple years now, almost 3 years. And it's literally a button inside Encompass. You press a button and it sends out 12 quotes for insurance. I mean, it's amazing. It's like, and I know everyone's got a person that they call, notice I didn't say they got a guy, I said they got a person. And they call the person and they're like, hey, what's my insurance quote? And you got to go through all this back and forth. Well, everything's in your LOS. You press a button, you get a quote, you press the PDF, it emails it to the borrower, they consent, it's done. You put it in your initial loan estimate, you have this huge cost, move forward, accurate fees, bam, 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 done. Frictionless experience. Mm-hmm. So for me, these things are incredible. Regora is a big appraisal system that we're putting out there. It's kind of, the guys that backed Lyft and Flywire.
Wow.
When there was 8 employees at Twitter, these guys financially backed it, Spark Capital, and then one more team. We're our team here, we're financing Homeowner Now, which Homeowner Now is another way for us to disrupt the fintech out there and get eyeballs on you first managing your social media. That's a guerrilla marketing tactic to win local, to win with your own presence and beat the guys that are out there spending hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising, going in and grabbing eyeballs first and getting to the borrower first. Because at the end of the day, Andrew, there's going to be 30, 20, maybe 10 lenders left. I mean, there's really only 2 cell phones left. It's either your Android or your Apple iOS. That's it, right? And so as the disruption continues to funnel things down on a level that's, makes it almost, unmanageable, you have to be able to have guerrilla tactics like this and use technology to bridge that gap and win local.
So what was the last tool that you mentioned? Homeowner Now.
Yeah, Homeowner Now. Homeowner Now is it's a social media management tool. It's also it's kind of like Angie's List for originators and realtors. It's a place where you can go. I don't want to say lead gen, because as soon as you say lead gen, everyone's like, it's much more than that, right? And so, because the thing is, like, I talk about this path to pivot. How do you help people? How do I help a 55-year-old loan officer pivot to more consumer direct facing activity? They're talking to the same 5 realtors they talked to for the last 20 years, and they're just begging for a deal, and they hope they get it. And if they win, they win. And I'm not trying to stereotype, and I'm not trying to, dumb down what they do. I'm just saying, as an example, you have to pivot to more consumer direct and consumer facing activity. So doing more video, doing more marketing. We just employed BombBomb. We rolled that out. We have that integrated with our different parts of our tech stack. We think BombBomb's great. I know a lot of people have been using it for years. You just have to be out there, be where the eyeballs are. I guess TikTok's a good one until the government shuts it down, because it's spying on us every day. But
yes. It's great. All right. Awesome stuff. I mean, really, JP, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us your tech stack. And I keep saying next to this, but if you went back 10 years ago, like, you wouldn't do this. Like, this is like, these are all proprietary secret things. These are, I mean, listen, you wouldn't do actually what you do, actually, sharing actually the insights from your secondary marketing desk. Gary's sitting right behind you, and you're actually saying it's exactly what's going on. Those used to be competitive advantages that you kept as secrets that you wouldn't share to other people.
Well, I appreciate you pointing that out. I mean, I try to be as open and transparent, honest as I can on here. It can get you in trouble when you don't try and filter things. But let me just say, again, before this pandemic struck, the way we look at it here is that all originators are facing disruption. Okay, the consumer is choosing, cheaper, better, and faster. That is the Amazon effect. Remember the old adage? It's like cheaper, better, or faster. Pick 2. I mean, look at my underwriting turn times here. We're backed up because we gave them cheaper. We could have just jacked up their margins, and sure, we're at 1 week, 2 week turn times. Your pricing sucks, but it's fast. So it's like, so we're trying to do that too. We're implementing, we didn't even get into AI or RPA as a service. We're doing a lot of bots, grabbing stuff behind the scenes, trying to make our stuff more efficient, streamline underwriting. But the point of the Amazon effect is it's cheaper, better, and faster. And the consumer wants that. The consumer wants that. They want it now. They want what they want, how they want, when they want, and they always want it now. And they can get it right here on their phone. So if we don't give that to them, they're going to go somewhere else. And so the reason why we're so open with this stuff, because I'm going to trade shows. Like the price of entry is, in my mind, and my mind share for you is you could go to a trade show as well. If you, as an independent originator or even an owner of an independent mortgage bank who is competing with us, if you have this information, we all win together, because at the end of the day, the large lenders out there who are consumer direct and fintech disruptors, they want to take our market share. They want to come into our neighborhood and take our business, take our relationships, take the human element out of it. You want to talk to some little dude on a headset? That's okay. That's on you, I guess, as a consumer. But if we don't give a better choice and win local by sharing these ideas with each other, by collaborating through the Mortgage Collaborative or Lenders One, we're going to lose. We're going to lose market share. We're going to lose more market share. And we're going to lose our community business to the portfolio of a consumer direct lender. That's it. And so, look, when I get off the court and all fighting aside, that's great. There's some really well-run companies. I have friends who work for SoFi. I know some people I've met at Better. Obviously, there's people at Quicken, and they got their thing, right? I'm not hating on them. I'm competing against them. And when I compete, I'm on the court, I want to win. I want to beat them. I want to take that loan, just like they want to take our loan. And so I think there's a way to do it in a friendly, professional manner. But if we don't arm each other with this kind of information and freely give it to each other, then how are we all going to grow together and fight it? I look at all local originators as the same team.
Fantastic. A little commentary from Michael Kelleher. TikTok reads, anything you copy on your phone and sends it back in its data set. As an originator,
way to bring it home, Michael.
Yeah, but I think he knows a little something about mobile devices.
He does, man. He does. So. I know. I know how TikTok is data scrapes. I saw someone had their I don't know if it was through TikTok, but someone had their clipboard copied for their digital crypto wallet password, and then all their Bitcoin was stolen for like a few $100,000. This happened like a month ago. So there's, data scraping and pulling contents off different things. It can be costly for sure.
Oh my goodness. All right, KP, always great hanging with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Happy to be here, brother. Good to see you, Andrew.
All right.
We'll catch you at Originator Connect.
Yes, we will. Certainly. Originator Connect. We are super excited. So as a matter of fact, I'm going to have a little thing up here I can do to promote Originator Connect. We're really excited about it. Originator Connect. No, I don't have it actually, but
22nd, man, August 22nd, Originator Connect. It's a what?
21st to the 23rd. So yeah,
I'm going into 22nd. Got it.
Yeah, no, 21st to the 23rd. We've actually just added some new content. We got a non-QM thing going on. Got Mortgage Revolution going on there. There's a build build a broker, going on there. Lots of great content. Registrations are through the roof. We have I think over 800. We just broke 800. I have new lenders actually that are coming in and looking to sign up for it. It's going to be great. We're being very, very safe to make sure actually we go above and beyond what's mandated to make sure everyone's going to be safe and feel good and comfortable. But we're also doing what we can to make it a very unique experience. We got this thing called the mortgage mile, where basically every exhibitor is going to have their own private dedicated space. Really, really exciting. Doing things actually that we've never would have done actually before, but now we go back and say, hey, this is a good idea. So thank you for
Andrew. I get it. I get it why you want to talk about safety. But if someone's willing to step foot on a plane and then go to Vegas, they don't care about safety. They want to get out of the house. They're ready to reopen the economy. I watch my show tomorrow night. I've been talking about vaccine versus herd immunity, but there's a third solution I'm going to talk about tomorrow on my LinkedIn, and it's how the virus actually just runs out of steam, and that's what's actually happening. You guys had the fortitude to keep that show on the schedule. You weren't going to be the first show, but now you are the first show. You're going to be the first show in the industry where it's a big event. You're in Vegas. Congrats to you and Vince for putting that on and keeping it going. I will not be riding the mechanical bull like I did last year in my suit with the Arts and Capital Appraisal Nation party. I tore my tendon. I had golfer elbow. Thanks to that, I will not be doing that. No more mechanical bulls for KP. But I got to say, thank you guys for doing the show. It's going to be a good show. I'm glad that you guys are sticking with it. Everyone wants to get out. Everybody wants to reopen. If the venue's open, people are going to show up. People want to go to Vegas. And
by the way, Michael Kelleher just giving us lots of great bombs here today. Buy one, get one free on JetBlue. Bring your LOA. This is great. I love that.
Bring your brother. He's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. All right. KP, thank you, sir.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks, Sam.
And that is a wrap. You have witnessed the first Originator Tech. We've got the next one coming up. It's going to be coming up on the 11th of August. We already have, I believe, 4 lenders that have already locked in the space. So please join us for that. Make sure you follow down there at the bottom. You'll see actually the website so you can access all the resources that we created for you, all the documents. So if you're just catching this on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, or any of the places where this is broadcasting, maybe you didn't have a chance to get those resources. We've got white papers, reports, infographics, marketing tools. Go to nmplink.com/OTech. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we will see you in Vegas.